58 degrees, a light breeze, chance of rain, none. Clear and mild after 6.5 inches of rain earlier in the week. Hi, everybody. I'm Vin Scully. Welcome to Candlestick Park. In the words of Herb Caen, the great San Francisco columnist, it's more like the box that Disneyland came in. With me, a fellow who knows all about the euphoria of victory, particularly in the Super Bowl, Hank Stram. And Hank, in looking at the visiting Dallas Cowboys, you could put a lot of labels on them, but certainly one would be deceptive.
Yeah, they are a very deceptive team, and the biggest deception of all is the fact that they are not a physical team. They are a very physical team, and in conjunction with that same thought, they do a very good job of deception with their running offense, their passing offense, and through that media, why they do a great job of springing their great running back, Tony Dorsett.
Well, we all know about the success, of course, of the Dallas Cowboys and Tom Landry, the upstart San Francisco 49ers. What do they have to do to win?
Well, they, too, are a very deceptive team, Ben. They do a good job of play-action passes and fooling people with formations. They must be able to block the front four of the Dallas Cowboys, and how they do that remains to be seen, but if they do, they'll do a very good job here this afternoon.
Okay, Hank. Bill Walsh, the young coach who has brought the San Francisco 49ers literally from nowhere to a place in the sun today. Tom Landry, who has his magnificent career. He has been in 30 playoff games. He has won 18 and lost 12, 5 times to the Super Bowl. And right now, Ray Wersching teeing up the ball. And it is interesting that this great American game could very well be decided by the kickers. And it would be decided then by perhaps Ray Wersching, as you look at James Jones, or Raphael Septien. Wersching, the son of a Yugoslav carpenter who was born in Austria, kicking off. And we are about ready to get the championship game underway. Over in the far corner and allowing it to go out at the last minute, so they'll have to re-kick it. Timmy Newsom not making any return at all. So they'll have to move it back 5 years. Just to illustrate the point, you have Wersching, whose father was a soccer player, a Yugoslav, and Ray Wersching born in Austria. You have Raphael Septien, whose dad was twice on a Mexico City World Cup soccer team. And it could very well be, when we get down to this, the kickers will decide it.
Yeah, usually in a big game like this one, it's normally turnovers, a kicking game, and field position that really make the difference. And Tim Newsom, talking about field position, did a good job that time of letting the ball bounce out of bounds, so they have to go back 5 more yards to kick off again.
We mention the word soccer quite often, and probably in the NFL, upon close study, the only 2 regular kickers coming to mind would be Mark Mosley of Washington and Rick Danmeyer of Minnesota. So Ray Wersching, 9 years out of California, and Danny White waiting for his chance to get his hands on the ball. So Jones is the middle man, and Jones going over near Newsom, and it'll be Newsom starting at the 7, to the 20, to the 25, hit and down he goes. Danny Buns tried to hook him. Carlton Williamson, number 27, and Bobby Leopold, 52, brought him down. Let's take a look now at the Cowboys offensively. Danny White with his running backs Dorsett and Springs, and the wide receivers Hill and Pearson. The tight end is Billy Joe Dupree, and it'll be Donovan Scott, Rafferty, Peterson, and Cooper up front. 1st and 10 on the Dallas 26 as we started off in 58-degree weather in San Francisco. Slot left. Drew Pearson and Tony Hill in the slot. That's Dorsett, the deep man out of the eye. And he'll go to Dorsett. Ron Springs blocking for him, and he picked up about 2 yards. The block, however, down with tackles by Carlton Williamson and Willie Harper. Here's the way San Francisco will stack up. Jim Stuckey, Archie Reese, and Dwayne Board up front in the 3-4. The linebackers, Harper, Reynolds, Pookie, and despite having chicken pox, Keena Turner, the right outside linebacker. Lott, Wright, Williamson, and Hicks in the secondary. So it is 2nd and 8 from the 28. This time, Tony Hill and Drew Pearson go slot right, and Ron Springs, a wide receiver, left. So Dorsett is all alone behind Danny White. White going over to the right side, no good. It was behind the intended receiver, Ron Springs, and he was being shadowed by Carlton Williamson. Jack Reynolds putting a good pinch in on the passer.
Carlton Williams did a good job. I think they tried to get Springs, number 20 on 27, man for man. And they had a pretty good situation, but the ball was thrown, as you see, very obviously thrown poorly on the play. One thing that we can look for, I think the 49ers definitely want to make sure that they keep Tony Dorsett. They want him to run toward the boundaries. They don't want him to get squared away and run upfield, because he does that so very well.
You know, Dallas was 6 for 13 in third down conversions last week. They're a little better than 50% now. Let's see what they do out of the shotgun. On a 3rd and 8 for Danny White, and down he goes. He's hit by Dwayne Board, 3 years out of North Carolina A&T.
And that time they had Dean in the game on the obvious passing situation. He rushed to the outside, but Board, number 76, watch him come into the picture here. He does a good job of getting penetration and making the tackle right up the middle. It was a stunt. Board is a defensive right end. Played tackle that time and came right up the middle on the inside.
So a loss of 11, and it's at 4th and 19. The ball on the 17-yard line. Danny White, dangerous, of course, as a passer, even out of punt formation. But this time, no monkey shines as he hangs it high to the left side. Freddie Solomon standing back, dodging a bullet at the 35-yard line, running laterally, got away from Guy Brown, still on his feet, and he's going to be finally knocked down. Steve Wright and also King, number 57, making the tackle. So Steve Wright and Angelo King bringing him down as he ran laterally across the 35-yard line. Here's the way San Francisco stacks up. Montana at the wheel with Lenville Elliott starting in place of Ricky Patton and Earl Cooper. Fred Solomon and Dwight Clark, the wide receivers. Charlie Young, the tight end, and up front, Audick, Ayers, Quillen, Cross, and Farnhorse. The front 5 started all 16 games this year.
They'll throw the ball on 1st and 10. That's their personality, and they'll do it on this first play of the game, according to what Bill Walsh mentioned to us before this contest got underway.
So it'll be a 1st and 10. The ball on the San Francisco 37-yard line. And, of course, for San Francisco, multiple receivers. Among other things to keep in mind, Walt easily tried the halfback pass once this year. Freddie Solomon threw a 25-yard pass against Dallas, and Dwight Clark has passed.
Let's see if they block the tight end down on Too Tall Jones, number 72. They do.
Montana throwing to the right side. He's got Mike Schumann, who is knocked out of bounds at about the 48 by Everson Walls, the brilliant rookie out of Grambling. Very close, as on the first play. It picks at Everson Walls.
Here he comes, and Everson is turned inside. He breaks to the outside. Schumann is a good possession, kind of a pass receiver. But the key was that the tight end, Young, blocked down that time on the defensive end, Too Tall Jones.
So they picked up the first down, first shot out of the barrel. Freddie Solomon going wide left. Charlie Young is on the right side. Montana looks left, then fakes to Cooper and throws in a crowd. No good. Intended for Lenville Elliott coming out of the backfield. He was hit hard by Michael Downs and D.D. Lewis. And by the way, D.D. Lewis, number 50 for the Cowboys, establishing a record. And talking about the defense, up front, Ed Jones. Larry Bethea is starting for John Dutton, who has a ruptured blood vessel in his leg. Randy White and Harvey Martin. The backers are Hegman, Brunig, and Lewis. At the corners, Walls and Thurman. At the safeties, Waters and Down. So for Joe Montana, it'll be 2nd and 10 from the 47. And they'll go to Earl Cooper. He has Ayers trying to block, and he gets across the 50-yard line to the 49. Ayers was going wide, and Cooper just left him and cut back and got to the 49 where Anthony Dickerson made the tackle.
You know, talking to Bill Walsh before the game, he has a short list of about 25 plays, usually between 20 and 25 plays, and he follows that format during the game. He said going into the game that probably the 25 plays, 16 were passes.
Now as we see a 3rd and 7 from the Cowboy 49, Mike Schumann goes wide left, and Mike Wilson goes wide right. Clark comes out of the backfield. Solomon stays in the backfield. Montana chased by Bethea. Throws on the run, and the catch is made by Charlie Young at the 32-yard line. The tight end came back to pick up the first down.
And the key, really, Too Tall Jones. Watch him, the defensive left end, number 72. He goes outside, takes a good angle, gets good angle on Montana, but he throws the ball. He throws the ball beautifully to Young. Watch Too Tall Jones. Watch him throw away the offensive tackle, Farnhorst, and in hot pursuit of Montana, but in spite of that, he still completed the pass.
Well, it's his second first down on the drive. 1st and 10 on the Cowboy 32-yard line. In motion is Freddie Solomon. Montana with Cooper leaving him, going left, throwing long. He's got Linville Elliott, and he's brought down at the 8-yard line by Bob Brunig. 1st and goal, San Francisco.
And that's what they love to do. They love to get man-for-man coverage. They had Solomon on the right side. Elliott came on the outside of the offensive tackle, broke down the field and back outside to the flag. He had a one-for-one situation on a linebacker, it looked like, and that's why he was open. The ball was right on the money, and the ball now is on the 8.
1st and goal on the Cowboy 8. Dwight Clark splits wide right. Solomon goes left, and Bill Ring is in there now along with Earl Cooper. Solomon in motion, picked up by Dennis Thurman. Montana throwing short to Solomon, who goes over.
Solomon comes over to the right in motion and then breaks out into the flat. There's a rollout pass. He's open in the flat. Does a good job of running through the defensive back and goes into the end zone for the touchdown. A beautiful executed play
Dennis
by the
Thurman
49ers.
Picked him up when he was in motion, but he was able to play a little too loose, and Solomon took advantage of it.
I think he got a kind of a pick on him too, Ben, which made a difference.
And just like that, automatic Ray Wershing, who was 30 for 30 during the regular season, he's now 6 for 6. Take another look at the pass to Solomon.
They moved the pocket that time, rolled out to the right. He delivers the ball right on the money. Thurman tries to make the tackle, does not wrap him up, does not use his arms, and he goes in for the touchdown.
Oh, with 10 minutes and 41 seconds left to go in the first quarter, the 49ers, starting on their own 37, march 63 yards with the big play, 6 plays, and Solomon catching one for 8. The biggest play was that lengthy pass from the Cowboy 32 to the 8-yard line to Linville Elliott. Wershing's kick will be short. Coming up for it is James Jones at the 10. To the 20. Got by McCall. Hit by Bobby Leopold. And Leopold slings him down at about the 27-yard line. Talking about that play to Linville Elliott, let's go to Hank.
Here is Clark right in here, and here's Elliott. And what happens on the play, Clark goes to the outside to pick the linebacker and then breaks to the inside. Elliott goes inside of here, just like this, and then breaks to the outside. He's got D.D. Lewis covering man for man. Couldn't do it. That's why the big play. Let's take a look. There you see the motion. Now watch Clark go down the field and then break into the middle. Elliott breaks right underneath and breaks to the outside with coverage by D.D. Lewis. Can't cover him, and a big play for the 49ers.
1st and 10 on the Cowboy 29, and White fakes once, throws to Billy Joe Dupree, who is surrounded at the 33-yard line, hit by Keena Turner, among others, but there was also Craig Pookie there and Jack Reynolds. The White making his connection. He's 1 for 2, is Danny. Tom Landry, incredible, the 3rd winningest coach in NFL history behind George Halas and Curly Lambeau. 9 championship games, his previous record 5 and 3. So it'll be 2nd and 5, moving the ball just shy of the 35-yard for White. Springs and Dorsett, and it'll be Dorsett wide open, upended across the 40. Dwight Hicks, number 22, hit him first, and then coming over was Eric Wright.
And that's what the 49ers have to be careful of. You know, he runs so well when he has his shoulder square to the line of scrimmage. Good blocking at the point of attack by the left side, Donovan Scott, and also the center Rafferty, and he pops right through there. But anytime he has a straight shot for the goal line, he is really tough, and you got to head him off with the pass by trying to encourage him to go sideways.
1st and 10 on the Cowboy 42. Tony Hill, Drew Pearson, that's Billy Joe Dupree in motion. White on a play-action fake is setting up, chased by Keena Turner. Flag on the play, and the ball is dumped off at midfield, intended for Drew Pearson. But there was a flag, so let's wait and see. Keena Turner, the only man here, and is holding against the Cowboys. Great pressure by Turner.
There's Keena Turner blitzing on the play, and look at the holding. Ron Springs, number 20. He doesn't hold him, he tackles him.
Turner's the one man in the ballpark who can say a pox on you and mean it.
That's right.
He's got bad case of chicken pox, and that'll put the ball back at the 32.
Holding, offense, 10 yards, still first down.
So 1st and 20 from the 32. Here are the officials. Jim Tunney. The umpire is Bob Boylston. Then you have Ed Marion, Bob Beach, Ray Douglas, Dean Look, Ed Merrifield, Gordon McCarter, and Dave Moss, the alternate. So 1st and 20 for Danny White. Tony Hill goes wide left. Drew Pearson wide right. Dorsett behind Springs out of the eye. And it's a draw to Dorsett. Herbert Scott blocking Turner, but he couldn't handle two, and down goes Dorsett. So as Scott went after Keena Turner, that left it open for Archie Reese, number 78, to make the tackle. Interesting note about Dorsett, 100-yard plus, they're a lock. He went 28-1, the one game he lost to the Giants. However, if you keep him under 50 yards, all of a sudden it's a iffy proposition.
And that last time they had a nice hold. They were in a zone defense, and the end came right up the field. The defensive end, Dwayne Board, number 76. For that reason, it was a big cavity inside, and he took advantage of it, made a nice gain on the draw play.
No, it is 2nd and 15 from the 37-yard line. Pitch back to Dorsett, chased by John Hardy, and he cuts across the 45 to about the 47-yard line. Hardy finally caught up to him along with Bobby Leopold, and Dorsett holding his mask, and we'll see now if he has been shaken up. Ron Springs was blocking for him. Dorsett. Take another look at that play and see if we can pick off what happened to him.
This is what he likes to do. He likes to go outside from the I formation. Springs out in front, doing a good job of blocking 59 Harper. He tries to cut back and slips in the process, and it's really hard to tell what really took place as to why he is holding his face on the play as he fell to the ground.
Everybody waiting to see the disposition of Tony Dorsett. It's 7-0 Niners. Well, we can ease the worries in Texas. Dorsett walked off the field under his own power. Now we can show you what happened to him.
Yes, Dwight Hicks, it looks like, came across to make the play, and in the process, 22 watch him. I think he kneed him in the face.
Or the foot.
Or the foot, yes, unintentionally, of course, and that's what happened on the play.
It was a gain of 8 for Tony, so it is a 3rd and 7 at the 45 as they work apparently on the left side of his face. We have 7:57 in the first quarter, 7-0 49ers, and here come the Cowboys. Tony Hill goes wide left. Pearson and Donnelly are in the slot right. Donnelly, number 83, extremely fast. Butch Johnson is in there. And Danny White going deep down the right side. A great catch by Butch Johnson at the 35. Dropped at the 34-yard line by Ronnie Lott. But what a marvelous circus catch by Butch Johnson.
And he almost slipped and fell coming off the line of scrimmage. He was detained a little bit by Ronnie Lott, 42. But this is a sensational catch way up above. It looked like he was going to lose the ball, but in the process caught it at a beautiful, beautiful play by Butch Johnson, number 86.
Meanwhile, Herbert Scott just pushed Fred Dean into the pile on a stunt, and they kept the big man off the rush, and Danny White had plenty of time. 1st and 10 on the 49er 35-yard line as White hit a big one to Butch Johnson. James Jones now is the deep back on a draw. It's Jones, grabbed at the line of scrimmage by Archie Reese, number 78. Archie Reese was originally drafted by Pittsburgh. They opted to keep Dwight White, and he was picked up on waivers by San Francisco, and he's really been important to them.
Oh, you can't play the 3-4 unless the man on the nose, 78 in this particular case, Archie Reed. Look, he plays off the block of the center. The great thing about it is he uses his hands terrifically well and was able to make that play for that reason.
He was 6'5" and 250, but they call him Pee-wee because he said, "You ought to see my brother." 2nd and 11, they draw to James Jones, circling back, grabbed by Willie Harper, and dropped at the 30-yard line. Meanwhile, Tony Dorsett holding ice underneath that left eye where I believe the foot got him going by. Tom Landry, of course, sending his people in and out, and so are the 49ers.
They go to a 4-man front. They bring Pillars in, number 65. And Board, who normally plays right in, now plays left in, and Dean plays the right in position.
Pearson and Billy Joe Dupree go wide left. Tony Hill goes wide right. And you have Ron Springs and James Jones, and they both release. The White with a lot of receivers throwing to Jones, who makes the reception. It's not enough for a first down as Bobby Leopold was all over him. He's about 2 yards shy at the 27. Meanwhile, Raphael Septien loosening up in case they call his number. And they're going to do that right now. And he is 27 out of 35 in field goals. 1 for 1 in the playoffs. He had a 32-yarder against Tampa Bay. His longest 47, and he did that twice. And his biggest day this year, he had 4 field goals against Washington and New England.
James Jones really did a poor job of running the pattern. That time he had 6 yards to go and he ran a route. It was only 4 yards deep.
And the 45-yard effort by Septien is good. So out of the hole by Charlie Waters. Raphael Septien kicks a 45-yarder, and it is San Francisco 7, Dallas 3, and the joint's warming up. And now Septien kicking off from the 35. Deep will be Bill Ring, number 30, Amos Lawrence, number 20. And just to add to their problems, they will be squinting up into a bright sun. Septien hanging it to the left side. That means Bill Ring, and he'll take that to 4. Ring to the 15. Hit, staggers across the 21. The 2 men have hit him with Danny Spradlin and Robert Newhouse.
Danny Newhouse, number 44, just leaped right over the top of a player to get involved in making a tackle. Boy, what a great effort. Number 44, Robert Newhouse.
The latest report on Tony Dorsett, the bruise under the left eye, and should it clear, he'll be back in there. Meanwhile, San Francisco has it 1st and 10 on the San Francisco 21-yard line. This formation sends Solomon wide right, and Mike Wilson, who was originally drafted by the Cowboys, wide left. And Montana behind Charlie Young, and he made the reception anyway at the 29. What a catch by the tight end, Charlie Young.
Charlie Young comes, he split a little bit to get a good release. Hegman gets a piece of him, but he runs right into the middle area. Charlie Young, he maneuvers between the linebackers. Bruning, who comes up late, and D.D. Lewis, and in spite of that, maintained possession of the ball. Great catch by Charlie Young.
2nd and 2 on the 49er 29-yard line. Dwight Clark is wide left. Freddie Solomon goes wide right. Cooper and Elliott, the running back. Montana looked left, now throwing down the right side and throws it OB. I think the intended receiver was Linville Elliott, and he took a lick trying to get out of the backfield.
Yeah, he really, that was a good observation, Ben. He was trying to throw a play-action pass to Elliott on the left side. D.D. Lewis gave him a shot. He was with him man for man. He couldn't throw the ball there. Looked to throw it to somebody else downfield. Nobody was open. He threw it over the top very wisely, and it goes out of bounds.
D.D. Lewis retiring this year, but he is setting a record, 27th postseason game. That's the NFL record. 5 Super Bowl appearances, 13 years out of Mississippi State. 3rd and 2 from the 29, and it'll be Bill Ring. Bangs into a Dallas team meeting. Didn't get anywhere. Among others, Bob Bruning with Charlie Waters coming on a blitz. And now, apparently, Ring losing the football at the bottom of the pile.
Well, Charlie Waters was, you talk about guessing right on the blitz. He blitzed right into the hole with the anticipation of the play being run there. he forced the fumble that looked like he did, and now the Dallas Cowboys have a great opportunity with the ball on about the 29, 30-yard line going in.
So somewhere in the bottom of the pile, Bill Ring losing the football. Guy Brown recovered for Dallas underneath that pile of humanity. And now the Cowboys, who had to be shocked when San Francisco on its first possession marched 63 yards in 6 plays and the touchdown to Solomon. They are right back in it and threatening to take the lead. Turnovers, of course, Hank, are as much a part of this game as first downs or anything else.
Yeah, in a big game like this one, you have a tendency to try to put in a lot of things and talk a lot about things that are really non-existent. The important thing is really field position, turnovers in the kicking game. That's what makes the decision.
1st and 10 on the San Francisco 30. Ron Springs and James Jones slowed down, but he went right by Jack Reynolds. Reynolds tried to tackle him at about the line of scrimmage, but he blew right by him to the 25. So Tony Dorsett trying to make sure that he is physically sound to go back in after taking an unfortunate lick. Dwight Hicks' shoe, I believe, got him going by. So James Jones is in there until Dorsett says he's ready.
And Dorsett, is involved in the alarm and security business. And it looks like he's in the alarm business when he takes off a run. Then he really makes things happen.
From the 26-yard line, it is 2nd and a long 6 for Danny White. White going to go high down the left side to Tony Hill, and he made the reception for a touchdown. Eric Wright, the rookie out of Missouri, was burned. And Tony Hill makes it look effortless, over the shoulder going away.
Eric Wright never knew, it was a bump and run, never knew where the ball was running desperately to try to maintain coverage, never ever took back to see where the ball was coming from. It was a blitz on the play with Reynolds coming, but watch, he never looks back, never sees the ball at all. The ball is thrown perfectly right over the top. Tony Hill makes the reception. Touchdown, Dallas Cowboys.
So suddenly the Cowboys, who were down 7-0, are leading 9-7 as they cashed in Bill Ring's fumble. Rafael Septien, 40 out of 40 during the regular season, 5 out of 5 against Tampa Bay. And he goes along his perfect way. So with 2 minutes and 49 seconds left to go in the first quarter, the Cowboys are alive and well in San Francisco. Dallas 10, San Francisco 7 as Tony Hill puts it away. We have 2:49 left in the first quarter. Vin Scully along with Hank Stram. The Cowboys leading the Niners 10-7, and Raphael gets it going as he hooks it deep, and in the end zone is famous Lawrence, and he's to the 15 to the 17-yard line. And almost a suicide effort that time by the man who upended him, who also shook himself up, and that's Danny Spradlin, number 55, who came hurtling through the air, upset Amos Lawrence, but also shook himself up, and Spradlin very slowly walking off the field. Let's take a look at that last touchdown pass to Tony Hill, Hank.
Watch Eric Wright, number 21, has to bump and run. See, he bumps, but in the process of bumping, he slipped, and he lost a few steps. He tried to recover, but Tony Hill ran right by him. The ball was thrown over the top. Touchdown, Dallas Cowboys.
So Jim Tunney signaling to put the ball in play, and it'll be 1st and 10 from the 8-yard line as Montana has Lenville Elliott and Earl Cooper behind him, and it's Lenville Elliott chased by Bethea, slowed up and takes a hit and goes out of bounds. Everson Walls, number 24, pushed him out of bounds as Bethea and Charlie Waters chased him to the sideline.
Usually, as a basic rule of thumb, it's very difficult to just take the ball from the left side of the formation and run right and go outside of the Dallas defense the way they pursue and react and respond. That time they ran that play but did not succeed in making any progress. Lost yardage on the play.
So it is 2nd and 12 from the 6-yard line for Montana. As two tall tees in, Dwight Clark and Freddie Solomon go in a slot left. Cooper is on a wing outside Charlie Young, but now he comes back to join Elliott. And they'll go to Earl Cooper. And Cooper's out across the 10 to about the 12-yard line. Charlie Waters was there after Bethea made the tackle. And, of course, Larry Bethea, number 76, has a big role to play today. filling in for the injured John Dutton.
He's not as big and as strong as Dutton, but he's very quick and very agile and a hard guy to block inside. Played his collegiate football at Michigan State.
He was the first lineman since Dick Butkus to be MVP in the Big Ten, so he can do the job for you. It'll be 3rd and 7 from the 12-yard line. San Francisco stung by that touchdown to Tony Hill. Montana, with Elliott releasing, has to throw low, no good. Intended for Elliott. Dwight Clark was also crossing, but the pass had to be low or it might have been picked off. A lot of pressure by Harvey Martin.
And Randy White also provided a lot of pressure that time. Number 54, Randy White, the defensive right tackle. Here we see Randy White. There you see him working inside John Ayers. Ayers is trying to block a number 68, but Martin comes around the outside and puts the squeeze on him, puts pressure on him, and makes him throw really before he wants to.
4th and 7 on the 12. And Jim Miller in the end zone, the barefoot boy, trying to drive it out of there and succeeds. Waiting for it is James Jones at the 49. He's to the 40 and brought down at about the 37-yard line. So once again, first recovering the fumble, and now this return. Dallas in excellent field position. So 1st and 10 on the San Francisco 36-yard line for Danny White. James Jones still in there. The deep man out of the eye. In motion is Drew Pearson. Play action fake and a pressure provided by Dean, but the pass is dropped by Billy Joe Dupree. Fred Dean was coming in, and we'll take a look at Dean's charge. He is so lightning fast.
Good anticipation on the part of the 49ers that time. He normally plays on passing situations. This time he's very wide. Watch him come off the ball. 74 makes an inside move on the offensive left tackle, Pat Donovan, and does a good job of getting through there. He gets a late hit, but he did a good job. He did a good job of getting to the quarterback that time, and Donovan got him the second time around.
2nd and 10 from the 36-yard line for Danny White. White with Jones leaving the backfield, and they set up a little screen for Ron Springs, and Willie Harper read the spring and drilled him. Willie Harper saw that screen develop and lowered the boom. 8-year veteran out of Nebraska.
Boy, did he do a good job of reading and responding to it. There you see Reese, number 78, trying to put pressure. Throws the screen on the outside, and watch Harper in a good tackling position. Nice and low, gets his arms wrapped around him and stuffs him right to the ground. Here he is. Here it is again. Watch Harper, number 59. Comes up in a good tackling position, just misses the block that was trying to be made by an offensive lineman. 3rd
and 13 at the 39. Lynn Thomas is now in there, and he's going to go one-on-one with Tony Hill on the right side.
You know, Lynn Thomas is the nephew of Jimmy Marcellus, who did such a great job for us at Kansas City. So he's learned a lot of good football from Jimmy.
And the brother of Norris Thomas at Tampa Bay.
Right.
So 3rd and 13. White throwing to James Jones, who is upended by Lynn Thomas, and make that Doug Donnelly coming out of the right side, number 83, and they deck him at the 35-yard line.
They went a very deep coverage, double zone that time, meaning that the two safeties were very deep, and the only way really you could get the ball to anybody was underneath. That's what they try to do, underneath the linebackers and defensive backs. That's what we refer to when we talk about throwing the ball underneath.
Well, we're coming down to the end of the first quarter, and there it is right now. The Cowboys, after taking over on the 36 of San Francisco, are stymied, and they'll be in punt position at the start of the second quarter. It is 4th and 9 for Dallas on the San Francisco 35. Dallas leading 10-7.
And White has the option back there to run or pass if he sees a situation that's conducive to doing something other than kicking the football.
Solomon and Hicks are back on the 10, and he's trying to angle it out of bounds. Aiming for the corner, it's going to hit and go into the end zone. So a very frustrated Danny White. White against Tampa Bay hit 2 outside at the 8-yard line, which wrecked Tampa Bay's field position. So this time he's unable to do it. And so San Francisco will have it 1st and 10 on their own 20-yard line. Any impressions about the first quarter?
It's a little bit like we thought it was going to be. And again, we hate to belabor the point, but you know, these field position and turnover things are very dominant factor in every game, and so far that's really the difference in this one because of the fumble, and Dallas was able to go in for the score.
Solomon going right, and Dwight Clark goes to the left. And Joe Montana now giving to Cooper. He has Randy Cross blocking on Martin, but coming up out of nowhere to force cross is D.D. Lewis. And of course, the Dallas Cowboys are a totally different ball club defensively. Look at the way they were in the first 11 games, the fall off in the last 6, and from 20 points per game down to 9. They have really turned it around.
Yeah, they really have. And the very important thing in this game, like all games, again, you must do a good job on 1st and 10. Boy, if you let them come in with the 5 defensive backs or 6 defensive backs, boy, they put a lot of pressure on you and really make it tough.
2nd and 12 from the 18 with Solomon going right. Clark goes left, but they'll go to Bill Ring. He has Randy Cross blocking, and he's still on his feet, and finally will be brought down shy of the 30-yard line by 4 white shirts. A great individual effort with Keith Farnhorst and Randy Cross trying to help him.
Bill Ring is the only one on the backfield. He pulls, runs to the right. Guards are pulling. Ayers is pulling. Cross is pulling. Everson Walls, number 24, misses the tackle. He cuts back into the inside and does a good job of running on the play.
So Bill Ring, who has a bit to atone for. Remember, his fumble gave the ball back to Dallas. It's a 3rd and 1. Eason Ramson is now in there as Charlie Young, the other tight end, goes in motion. Play action to Cooper. The pass to Young, first down at the 32. Great play action to Cooper, freezing the backers, and Charlie Young was loose for the first down.
On any kind of a play action fake, the first thing you must do a good job of selling the defense that it's going to be a run. He does that. Watch, a good fake inside to Cooper, and then he rolls to the right and throws outside to Young, who makes the catch and the necessary yardage for the first down. Dennis Thurman, number 32, makes the tackle.
Well, they needed 1, and they picked up 4, so it's 1st and 10 at the 33-yard line. Solomon again going right. Ring and Cooper in the backfield. Ramson and Young, 2 tight ends, and Cooper goes Ramson's way, cuts back, and is stymied at the 35-yard line. Brunig and Michael Downs and Randy White and Harvey Martin.
Unusual play that time into the center. Fred Quillen, number 56, was pulling on the play, and the reason he was pulling is because he was uncovered, meaning that he did not have a man on his nose. There were people on the offensive guard, so they didn't pull. The center pulled instead.
So 2nd and 8 on the San Francisco 35. This time it's Solomon. And in a little slot, just off the wing, is Cooper. Play action fake the Ring. Too tall, couldn't get him, and the pass is caught over the shoulder down at the 25-yard line. The defender was Walls. The catch by Dwight Clark.
That time they were in a triple wing formation, which means they had 3 people on the left side. Clark was all alone by himself. And now Montana, see, he fakes the sweep. Watch the tackles and guards. Everybody pulls. But Too Tall Jones was not fooled. He came up the field. Montana did a good job of making an adjustment, stopped short, threw the ball downfield to Clark, who was covered by Walls. Watch this. Watch Clark. He was not hit by Lewis. He makes an inside move, and the ball is delivered right on the money. A beautiful catch. Finally tackled by Walls.
1st and 10 on the Cowboy 27. In motion is Eason Ramson. He's picked up by Charlie Waters, and now Montana says, hold everything. I'm not sure. Let's have a timeout. As you look at Tom Landry pondering the situation, it is 10-7 Dallas. 11 minutes and 15 seconds to the half, but San Francisco is on the move. Golden Joe is Joe Montana, and he brings him up 1st and 10 on the Dallas 27. In motion again is Eason Ramson. And this time Montana setting up, going to be squeezed down. And the Cowboys were all over him at about the 33-yard line. Harvey Martin, number 79, wrapped him up, and he got a little help from Randy White.
Martin is a dominant force defensively, and to keep him from doing a good job of blocking, rushing the passer, you have to keep a tight end on his side. Audick was trying to block him that time, number 61, and he just threw him aside and put pressure on the quarterback, Joe Montana.
And of course, Harvey Martin, 1977 NFL Defensive Player of the Year, 4 times a Pro Bowler, co-MVP in the '77 Super Bowl. He's quite a power to be reckoned with. Montana completing to Dwight Clark, and he's dropped at the 22-yard line by Ron Fellows. But it's interesting that Clark has already had 2 big games in his only 2 previous starts against Dallas. In 1980, 8 catches and 2 touchdowns, and in this year.
Yeah, he's a great receiver. He's very deceptive. I don't think people realize how fast he is. He's a possession. Look at how he gets down good and low. He wants to do first things first, follows an orderly process, catching the football, looks it into his hands, makes sure he tucks it away, and then he tries to run. He doesn't try to run before he catches it.
In their game this year, he caught 4, including a 78-yard touchdown. 3rd and 5, and you have Mike Wilson in motion to the right. Montana with Cooper staying in. The pass intended for Wilson, and Everson Walls made the reception. And I believe they're going to spot the ball at about the 1-yard line or less. Everson Walls making the interception. He had 11 intercepts, a club record, breaking Renfro's 10 during the regular year.
That time they send Mike Wilson, who was number 85. He comes out of the backfield that time, goes in motion to the right side, and they try to isolate him one-on-one. Iverson Walls, number 24, really does a super job of covering 1-for-1. The ball was not thrown high enough and over the top, and for that reason it was thrown incomplete. The ball should have been thrown over the outside shoulder of the receiver.
Everson picking one off today, and they spot the ball at about the 1.5-yard line. So White takes over, 1st and 10 from a little more than a 1. Jones and Newsom and White going to be stacked right up at about the line of scrimmage.
It looked like there was a little confusion on the play, man. It looked like he was looking to hand the ball off to one of the backs, but they didn't show up, and so he decided to just take it himself and didn't have much success, and he wouldn't expect that he would in this part of the field on a quarterback sneak or a busted play.
There are some 49ers with championship experience. Jack Reynolds in his 6th championship game and his 16th overall postseason game. 4 others, Charlie Young twice with the Rams, Johnny Davis with Tampa Bay, Fred Dean and Dan Audick with San Diego last year. So 2nd and 10 from about the 2. White going to Ron Springs. He takes a look at the line of scrimmage. He was hit by Archie Reese, number 78, and he just bounced off Reese and went down laterally, and Jack Reynolds made sure he stayed down at the 2.
Here we see the shot. Watch Reese, number 78, is nothing more than just a plain vanilla straight ahead shot. But look at the way he uses his hands and arms. That's the important thing. He must be able to use his hands if he's going to do a good job of playing on the nose of the offensive center. He does, and that's why he was able to stuff the play.
Timmy Newsom has just come in for Ron Springs at fullback. Doug Cosby goes on the right side. Billy Joe Dupree, the tight end, on the left with Drew Pearson. And it's the 2nd man, James Jones. Eric Wright chasing him, and Wright will spin him out of bounds at the 10-yard line. So it'll make it 4th and about 2 at the 10.
Wright did a good job of making sure that he made good contact and got his arms wrapped around to make sure he didn't make that extra 2 yards and get him out of the soup on that play coming out of the end zone.
Well, Danny White will be kicking to Freddie Solomon and Dwight Hicks, who is standing back at the San Francisco 45. The sun is at their backs. White taking the snap from Tom Rafferty. Good snap. And gets it away. And it'll be a fair catch by Dwight Hicks at the 47-yard line, as Eric Wright trying to block down on the wideout Anthony Dickerson. So Landry has seen the Pokes come back. They were down 7-0. They lead 10-7. And now San Francisco, which surrendered the ball when they were down on Dallas's 22, will start again on the Dallas 47. And for Bill Walsh, of course, he's a great study up here. He's the 11th head coach in the history of the 49ers, but he is also the general manager. 1st and 10 on the Dallas 47. And it's Earl Cooper up the middle. And still going to the 36-yard line. Charlie Waters has him at the knees. What sounds like boos, the crowd is hollering, "Coop, Coop." Earl Cooper, 2 years out of Rice.
That was a counter play. Watch him take a step and then breaks right up the middle. Quillen, number 56, the offensive center, really does a good job And he pops right through there. Now, a lot of people feel that Cooper does not run inside as well as he runs outside. The last 2 weeks, we've seen him do a good job of running right at the defense.
Well, a good block on Randy White opened it up. 1st and 10 on the Dallas 36. Lenville Elliott is in motion left. The pass goes down the right side to Freddie Solomon, and he's down by Everson Walls at the 25-yard line. So they're really on a roll now as they pick up a 1st down at the 25.
This is an option. He's got Solomon going down the field, and then he's got Cooper in the flat. Depending on what the linebacker does, he'll either throw to the deep back downfield, Solomon in that case, or throw to the back Cooper, depending on how that linebacker plays.
Solomon healthy for the first time this year. He had a bruised kidney, but he's backing well, and you have 1st and 10 at the 25. Dwight Clark left, Solomon in motion right. Second man is Lenville Elliott. Elliott driving to around the 20-yard line. That would be a pickup of 5 to make it 2nd and 5. Lenville Elliott, 9 years out of northeastern Missouri. He's 30 years old. He had a knee surgery. He also had a bad hamstring. He was picked up as a free agent after originally drafted back in 1973 by Cincinnati.
And the reason he was picked up because Bill Walsh was coaching at Cincinnati at that particular time when he was enjoying front-page success. He picked him up, and he's been a big asset.
A big asset indeed, especially with Ricky Patton down with a sprained knee. 2nd and 6 from the 20. Cooper in motion. Elliott stays in the block. And Montana throwing in the end zone to Clark. Touchdown! How in the world did he ever get away from all those arms and legs?
Yeah, incredible to Joe Montana. That was the key. The fact that he has escapability skill, he was able to jump up into the pocket. Clark made a wonderful move downfield, turned the defensive back completely around. Watch, he jumps in.
Lewis missed him.
D.D. Lewis was blitzing and went over the top. There again, look at the orderly process. He makes sure he catches the ball first. He did.
Wersching's kick is good, and they are wild at Candlestick. San Francisco 14, Dallas 10. One more time for Dwight Clark.
And watch D.D. Lewis, number 50. He's blitzing on the play. There he is. He jumps out of the grass into the pocket, up in front, finds Clark wide open in the end zone. Touchdown, San Francisco. What a great play by Montana.
Michael Downs 10 yards in front, tried to take a swipe, didn't come close. And in a moment after the kickoff, we'll show you why Clark was all alone. Ray Wersching kicking. Squinting up in the sunlight is James Jones from the goal line. To the 10. Hit by Rick Jervis, still on his feet. Upended by Carlton Williamson. And finally dropped at the 20-yard line. And now let's take a look at the magic of Dwight Clark.
Watch Clark, watch Thurman. Thurman's looking to the inside. Look at the move. He comes off the line of scrimmage in good shape. Inside, outside. And Thurman takes the swallow of the anchovy on the play. He makes an inside move. He's wide open. 1-for-1 coverage. Beautiful, beautiful move by Dwight Clark, number 87.
And with all of that, they say he has the flu. 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line for the Cowboys. Drew Pearson and Tony Hill go wide left. Dupree, the tight end on the right side. And it's still James Jones and Ron Springs. Remember, Tony Dorsett was kicked in the face early in the game, and we haven't seen him since. Springs with Jones blocking. Steinman at the line of scrimmage does a great individual effort to pick up a couple of yards.
Well, you talk about defensive improvement. We've talked about the Dallas Cowboys, but the San Francisco 49ers really showed dramatic improvement. Last year, they were 27th in total defense. Now they're 2nd.
And, of course, one of the reasons Bill Walsh's draft choices, he buoyed up a porous secondary. We can get into that later on. 2nd and 7 from the 23 for Dallas. Ron Springs started on a wing outside Dupree, but and Tony Dorsett is back in the ballgame. In motion is Pearson. Here goes Dorsett. And he's out across the 25 to the 28. He has to get across the 30-yard line. in order to pick up the first down. But this is the first time we've seen Dorsett since he took that shoe in the face.
Yes, and Archie Reese that time got good penetration and had a chance to make the stop in the backfield. Missed the tackle, however, and that's why he was able to make some extra yardage on that last play.
Pearson and Hill go out. A 3rd and 2 for Dallas. Dupre on the left side. Crosby and Saldi are the other tight ends. So you have 3 tight ends in there. Saldi finally picks a spot on the right side. And Saldi in motion. Play action fake to Springs. Danny White looking, throwing on the run. Caught by Dupre. And he takes a lick from Carlton Williamson across the 30. So he picked up the first down. If they spot it where he finally went, and they do. It'll be at the 32, first down.
You know what happened on the play? They try to get Reese, or I should say Dean, on the split inside, but that time they had 3 tight ends in the game, and they had him occupied in good shape. Dupree slips and falls, and then breaks to the outside. It was really, he didn't slip by accident, he slipped by design and got up and made the reception for the first down.
Well, 1st and 10 on the Dallas 32. Tony Hill wide right. Dupree and Pearson now shake themselves loose. And Dorsett deep man out of the eye. White pitching to Dorsett with Springs blocking on Turner. Turner fought off the block and slowed down the play. And Dorsett had nowhere to go but to the sideline.
That's what they have to do. When you play against Dorsett, you have to play with the outside shoulder and outside arm to make sure that you get him going outside, that you do not let him cut up the field, because if he cuts up field, that's when he really is murdered.
So Dorsett has carried the ball, limited service today because of the facial injury, but he's back in there. He's carried only 6 times for 33 yards, so better than 5 a carry when he's in there. 2nd and 6 from the 36. Crosby is the tight end on the left side. Play action fake. White with a lot of time, but everybody's been covered. And throwing down the right side. And they'll give him the catch at about the 47-yard line. It was Tony Hill making the reception. As somehow or other, like a surveyor, he was able to stay in bounds.
Yes, and the critical thing, the most important thing as far as Dallas is concerned, on that last play, he had all the time in the world to throw the ball, had no pressure on him whatsoever. Watch him, he goes back into the pocket. Watch this. Fake, play action fake, rolls to the right a little bit. Reese goes out to the outside. Stuckey leaps up into the air, tries to make a play, does not. He runs out of the pocket, throws the ball to Tony Hill on the sideline. He knew exactly what he had to do. He had both feet in bounds. Big play, Dallas.
1st and 10 on the San Francisco 47. Dupree in motion to the right to join Pearson over there. White, who is 8 for 10 today, is going to send it high and deep, and it's picked off by Ronnie Lott. Took it away from Drew Pearson. Flag on the play. He's to the 30-yard line and across the 35. But remember, there's a flag on the play down around the 12-yard line.
Yes, that was man-for-man coverage. Lott was with him, man for man. Boy, that's a tough call.
It's going to go against Lott for bumping Drew Pearson.
We'll see if we can see it here. Watch Lott 1 for 1 on Drew Pearson. Backpedaling. Fakes outside and goes up the field. He's with him step for step. Boy, that's tough. Hey, both people were trying desperately to make a play on the ball. Boy, that's a tough call.
So Ronnie Lott, who had 7 interceptions during the regular year and 2 against the Giants, picks it off, but to no avail. And it is 1st and 10 on the San Francisco 13. Take another look.
Here what happens, see, he kind of overruns Pearson and gets in front of him and deprives him of the opportunity to make the play. I don't know. That's a tough call, I think.
1st and 10 on the San Francisco 13, and there goes Dorsett. He was hit from the right side by Eric Wright, who hit him inside the 10, finally dropped him. And, of course, there are Cowboy fans here, and they have come alive again. It figures appears to be this kind of a game, and it's sure unfolding that way.
I really would like to get an interpretation of that call. I really didn't think it was pass interference, man. I really didn't.
Well, they've moved the ball down to the 6-yard line. A second down and about 5. Tony Dorsett in there with Ron Springs. And it'll be Springs, and he's hit by Jack Reynolds. Exar came in to stack him up and drop him at the 5-yard line. And there's a study. Twice in the Pro Bowl, 33-year-old Jack Reynolds.
Number 64, Jack Reynolds, really gets good penetration that time and stuffs the play. There you see him, 64. The lineman blocks down, and he goes through that gap, gets penetration, and makes the tackle. Beautiful play by Jack Reynolds.
Now linebackers coming out. That means Pookie and Harper and Turner and Reynolds. So it is 3rd and 2 from the 5. Ron Springs wide left. Jay Salty a tight end, but there goes Dorsett untouched in the end zone. No chance. Springs throwing the block that opened the door on the left side.
He was the only back in the backfield that time. He pitched the ball to him on the outside. He made a very easy move outside and goes in for the touchdown. A good-looking play by the Dallas Cowboys. Dorsett, here we see it, going to the outside. Lyman blocking on the play. There you see Donovan, 67, out in front throwing a block on number 22, Dwight Hicks. He goes into the end zone for the touchdown.
So now Charlie Waters holding. Raphael Septien trying to make it 17-14. The spot hold. It's good. So with 2 minutes and 30 seconds to the half, they are sullen and mutinous. Watch the block by Springs, holding up Carlton Williamson, and there goes Tony Dorsett.
One thing, you cannot run well outside unless your flankers do a good job of blocking corners.
17-14. 17-14 in a seesaw battle on a magnificent afternoon here in San Francisco. Septien kicking off from the 35. Amos Lawrence and Bill Ring standing on the San Francisco goal line. And it will be famous Amos who fumbles. Ring picks it up at the 15, and he's at the 20. Everson Walls, number 24, made the tackle. Michael Downs down there with him. Tony Dorsett with the bad left eye, but he was able to one-eye his way into the end zone from 5 yards out.
Yeah, he knew where the goal line was. He didn't have any obstruction at all. Did a great job, and of course Springs did a terrific job of blocking on the outside play, and he blocked Carlton Williamson, number 27.
Well, 1st and 10 as you see the scoring drive, but of course the footnote asterisk, the big play, was lot interference against Drew Pearson. Meanwhile, Lawrence Pillars is steaming along with John Hardy, but Pillars hollering, get him. Well, it's 1st and 10 on the 49er 20-yard line. Martin can't get it, Montana, and Joe throws in the middle, no good to Earl Cooper. He took a pretty good pop from Benny Barnes, and of course Barnes has a lot going for him. 10 years ago, Benny went to school up here at Stanford.
You know, we just got a good picture of Lawrence Pillars. He's one of 10 kids. He's a deputy sheriff in Gibson, Mississippi. I don't know whether he wears that badge under his shoulder pads or not, but I think sometimes he's looking to arrest somebody that might go around the outside and catch him for speeding.
You know, we talked about Texas before. 3 boys for Dallas went to Stanford. Donovan, Barnes, and Hill. And Doug Crosby went to Santa Clara. So 2nd and 10 from the 20-yard line. Lenville Elliott with Ayers trying to block on Barnes, but coming over from the side was Anthony Dickerson, and Dickerson made the good play to knock him down. Got it out across the 20 to about the 22, and we have come to the 2-minute warning on a 3rd and 7 for San Francisco on their own 23. It's Dallas 17, San Francisco 14. 2 minutes to the half. Dallas 17, San Francisco 14. San Francisco has a 3rd and 7 on its own 23. Cooper the sole setback. Mike Wilson is wide left. Freddie Solomon wide right. Montana buried by too tall Jones, who really drilled him at the 15 and flattened him at about the 13.
It looked like that might have been a stunt that time where he lined up on the outside and came inside, but he had a free shot. There it is. Buffet is going outside, and here he comes right up the middle. Look at him. A stunt. Pulling the offensive center, number 56, missed him, and he ran right over the quarterback, Joe Montana. Beautiful play by Too Tall Jones.
It cost 8 yards. It makes it 4th and 15 from the 15. Too Tall, they tell us, is playing, remember, with a sore knee. Remember, he was hit by Randy White last week. You'd never know it on that play.
Oh, you sure wouldn't.
So on a 4th and 15 from the 15. Time remaining, 1:55 on each side with 2 timeouts. James Jones will be the single safety at midfield. And if the ball is kicked to Jones' left, then he will have the sun problem. As you look at Jay Saldi, big tight end out of South Carolina.
You know, Too Tall Jones, a very versatile guy. He's a great football player. Was a boxer for a short period of time. Now he just cut his own record called Do the Dip in 1981.
You know, Ernie Stognisch's boxing made Jones a quicker player.
Yeah, I think it did.
4th and 15, and Miller barefoots it out of there. And James Jones in the shade, muffs it. Loose ball, picked up by Amos Lawrence, number 20 on the muff.
Here we see Jones muffs the ball, and watch what happens. It's knocked up into the air by Amos Lawrence, and then he very wisely, number 20, then he just falls on it. He's satisfied to fall on the ball, doesn't try to pick it up. That's really important. Here we see it again. Jones, it hits his shoulder pads. That's why it hits his shoulder pads. Lawrence finally falls on the football.
1st and 10 on the Dallas 42. Montana taking his drop, has some protection. Now he's going to scramble. Bethea is chasing him. Jones is chasing him. And Jones ankles it down at the 39-yard line. The turnovers, an all-important category. San Francisco 2, Dallas 1. Wait a minute, there's a flag on the play. And from all appearances, it will be against Dallas. Let's see. Dan Audick came over to check. There is famous Amos Lawrence, the rookie out of North Carolina, who was traded by San Diego after a salary dispute to San Francisco.
Holding 24. Back to the end of the run. 5 yards.
Holding
First down.
against Everson Walls at the end of the run, tacked on. So it makes it 1st and 10 on the Dallas 35-yard line. We have 1 minute and 37 to the half. Dallas leading San Francisco 17-14. Dwight Clark wide left, Freddie Solomon wide right, and Len Benelli on a wing. And there goes Cooper. Upended at the 30-yard line by Ron Fellows. Lost the ball after the whistle. So Cooper got to the 30. And there's a flag on the play.
Looks like it's against the 49ers, the way Joe Montana.
Steaming. Personal foul, a crackback block charged against San Francisco.
You cannot block below the waist. I don't know whether that was a call or not, but evidently it might have been.
Yeah, crackback, I'm sure, in watching Tunney. So it was 1st and 10 at the 35. Cooper ran to the 30, but then the penalty is exacted, and that brings it back out to the 45-yard line. And let's go to Jim Tunney.
Personal foul. Crackback. 87. 15 yards.
It was Dwight Clark, who was the wide receiver on the left side, and he'll come in on Ron Fellows, and we'll see it unfold.
Here we'll see it. He's a very careful guy. Well, gee, he's got his head in front. That's a surprising call.
1st and 20 from the 45 of Dallas. Martin trying to get it. Montana jerked his arm loose. Harvey battling for the loose ball, and let's see who recovered. Dallas recovered. Harvey Martin got him by the arm. He was unable to bring the arm forward in the active passing, and the fumble recovered by Dallas.
Watch Harvey Martin on the outside. Runs right around the Dan Audick, number 61. knocks the ball out of his arm. It bounces around there, follow the bouncing ball, but finally recovered.
Larry Bethea.
Larry Bethea, number 76, recovers that fumble.
So that swings the ball back again. 1st and 10 to the San Francisco 48-yard line. Bethea, of course, subbing for John Dutton, and Bethea was shaken up. 1st and 10. You have Pearson going wide right. Butch Johnson is a split end. Tony Hill is wide left. They're loading the shotgun for Bear on this play. 5 receivers, and White hit. Got away for a moment by Stuckey, but they're going to rule him in the grasp of the tackler. So Jim Stuckey, who winds up with the football, actually wound up with the tackle.
Willie Harper, number 59, was also coming on the play, but people must realize that on a 3-man line, when the outside linebacker blitzes, it's nothing more than just a normal 4-man line rush, and there's no difference in the coverage on the play.
Take a look at this 2-year man out of Clemson, Jim Stuckey.
There you see Harper blitzing to the inside, running right into the offensive guard. Stuckey has him in the grass, number 79, and that's the call.
2nd and 17 on the Dallas 45-yard line, and White setting up a screen for Dorsett, and he never had possession of the ball. It is just an incomplete pass. Boy, he had to pay the price of even touching it. Eric Wright really tried to drill him.
Yeah, you got to be careful on that kind of a play. There's always a chance that it might have been a lateral pass, and if that's the case, then of course it would have been possession of the 49ers.
So it is 3rd and 17 on the Dallas 45 with 51 seconds to the half. Dallas 17, San Francisco 14. 2 big turnovers here. Muff.
I don't think there'll be a man-for-man, but if they are, they'll try to work on Eric Wright, number 21, the right corner. They're in the zone.
From the 45 of Dallas. Coming in is Pillars, but he got away, fumbled, and falls on it. Lawrence Pillars was putting extra heat on him, and then Dwayne Board came in, and that's when Danny dropped the ball, but then fell on the leather back at the 32.
Well, the 49ers are really doing a good job of coming off the line of scrimmage and putting pressure on the quarterback. They're very inspired, very emotionally involved. The intensity level is very high. 44 seconds left in the first half.
And Dallas calls a timeout, San Francisco. Danny White will be punting. Deep for San Francisco will be Dwight Hicks, number 22, Freddie Solomon, number 88. 44 seconds to the half. Dallas 17 and San Francisco 14.
And the 49ers have just about 1 timeout left with 44 seconds left.
The snap by Tom Rafferty is a good one. And from the 22, White gets it away. On the far side is Dwight Hicks at the 32-yard line. Got away from Anthony Dickerson and is necktied by Benny Barnes at about the 37-yard line. San Francisco 1st and 10 on their own 37. Mike Wilson wide left. Freddie Solomon right.
6 defensive backs in the game.
Montana to Clark. Dickerson and Everson Walls, and Walls takes him down shy of the 45-yard line to about the 44, and the clock shows 26 seconds to the half.
You know, I talked to Montana before the game in the locker room, had a nice visit with him, and he said really they weren't going to do too many things differently than what they've done in the past, which is understandable. They do an awful lot of reading and adjusting on what the defense does, and they do a great job of that, and especially Clark, number 87, who really makes a lot of adjustments as he comes off the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 3 on the San Francisco 44. Montana drilling it low to Clark at the 45-yard line. There was no way for anybody else to get at the ball except Clark, and he took a punishing lick from Anthony Dickerson. The clock shows 11 seconds. 49ers with 1 timeout, so they wasted a couple of seconds, but they call it to stop it with 11 seconds to the half.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't call it sooner because there's 11 seconds left now.
So it'll be 1st and 10 on the Dallas 45. 11 seconds to the half. 17-14 Dallas. Clark and Solomon to the left side. Cooper and Elliott behind Montana. Charlie Young is the tight end on the right side. Montana over the middle to Solomon. And Solomon is upended at the 27 by Charlie Waters. 3, 2, 1. They're not going to beat the clock.
And that was an automatic. We just got through talking about that. Solomon was on a line of scrimmage in the slot, uncovered. He saw it, changed the play in the line of scrimmage. They made the adjustment, got the ball to Solomon for a big play.
The Dallas Cowboys 17, the San Francisco 49ers 14, and we await the start of the second half. Rafael Septien will be kicking off. Deep, number 20, Amos Lawrence, and number 30, Bill Ring. Tremendous amount of emotion here at halftime. And, of course, the two plays involving Ronnie Lott and Drew Pearson, and then the other play that involved Dwight Clark on his block of Ron Fellows, a constant source of conversation here. But it'll all be pushed aside for the moment, and the second half is underway. It'll be Amos Lawrence from the 2 to the 15, 20 to the 24, and the man who hit him was Robert Newhouse, number 44. You're accustomed to hear about Newhouse running with the football, but that's twice he's gone down on kicks to help make out the tackle. There are the numbers, Hank. What do they tell you?
Well, look at the difference. 1 turnover for the Dallas Cowboys, 3 for the San Francisco 49ers, and really that's really the difference in the game so far. The other things are not overly dramatic, with the exception of the fact that the San Francisco 49ers have 201 yards total offense to a lesser amount for the Dallas Cowboys.
1st and 10 on the San Francisco 25. Freddie Solomon left. Dwight Clark right, and they're going to go to Lendell Elliott following Randy Cross, and holding on him was Mike Hegman, number 58. But Cross was really on the move, number 51, and Elliott was running in his wake.
You know, one thing interesting about the philosophy of the San Francisco 49 then is, you know, in the past, you've heard coaches talk about repetition, repeat plays. They're going to run about 60 plays in this game. Of the 60, 40 will be completely different than the others. There's not a lot of repetition, and Dallas plays very much the same way.
Solomon on the left side with Charlie Young, and Dwight Clark wide right. And they'll go to Earl Cooper. Bill Ring trying to block, and Cooper decides to come back and runs into Bob Brunig, among others.
Too Tall Jones, number 72. Farnhorst is trying to block him. He knocks him off and gets a piece of the tackle along with Bob Brunig, who comes in also from the middle linebacker position. But really a good defensive play by Ed Too Tall Jones. And again, he's able to use his hands very, very well.
3rd and 2 on the 33, and here goes Bill Ring. And Ring is upended as he tries to get the first down. He has to get very close to the 35, so he certainly didn't make it on that carry. Jones, Brunig, and a host of Cowboys. So they come up a buck short. And it'll be 4th down. Going deep for the Cowboys will be James Jones, standing on the Dallas 25-yard line. Jim Miller, the barefoot punter, standing back on the San Francisco 20. Carlin Williamson at fullback to pick up any strays. And he has to take on Billy Joe Dupree to keep it from being blocked. James Jones muffs the ball. And Dallas recovered. So Jones has muffed 2. Little hard feelings down there. Amos Lawrence being jerked out of there by Doug Crosby, the tight end. And make it Jay Saldy who had him and spun Lawrence out. And Ronnie Lott is furious.
You know, the thing that happened on the play that time, Jones tried to catch the ball a little bit too low. He caught it about waist high. That ball has to be caught right about numbers high and away from your body. Because if you're not careful, if you let it hit your shoulder pads, watch now. See, it goes right on through. It should be caught a little bit higher. Went right on through. If you try to catch it with your body, a lot of times it hits your shoulder pads and bounces right out. That just went right down like a basket.
That's his second muff, but this one didn't hurt. It's 1st and 10 at the 34 of Dallas. Ron Springs and Tony Dorsett. In motion is Butch Johnson. He'll try Dorsett. And Dorsett going out across the 40, losing the ball after the whistle. Ronnie Lott felt that he recovered a fumble. The officials say no. There's a Cowboy shaken up on the play, and that would be Herbert Scott, who has a bad ankle anyway.
Boy, Kurt Peterson that time, the left guard, number 65, did a good job of blocking number 59 on the play. And that's why he was able to bounce through there and make a nice gain.
Lott just stripped the ball from Dorsett, but evidently after the whistle, and of course he's steaming. Way back to the Pearson call. 2nd and 5 at the 39. Tony Hill is wide right, Pearson left, but they go to Dorsett, and he's drilled by Lott and Stuckey. Lott hit him high, Stuckey hit him amidships, and they dropped him at the 39 to the 40-yard line, just about the line of scrimmage. Tony Dorsett has averaged 5 yards a carry. Remember, he is 28-1 is Dallas when he rushes for 100 yards, but when he is kept to 50 or under, they're now 11-9. So it is 3rd and 4 from about the 40-yard line. Shotgun, and Tony Hill right, Pearson left.
I think they want to get right 1-for-1 as much as they possibly can if they got time to
Pillars
throw.
can't get him. Hardy is chasing him. Board hits him as he unleashes. Flag, and we'll see if it's intentionally grounding.
It's definitely intentional grounding. He threw the ball with the idea of trying to avoid a loss. When you do that, that's intentional grounding.
John Hardy and Dwayne Board putting the heat on stunting in the line.
Watch what happens. Bean is blocked. Here we come to the outside, and he's Board, Dwayne Board, number 76, overtakes him, and he makes him intentionally ground the ball.
Intentional grounding, number 11. Ball placed at the spot on the throw, 4th down.
So we saw that twice in the Tampa Bay game from the spot of the foul. It's 4th and 22 from the Dallas 23. Danny White will be punting from the 10, and deep Freddie Solomon and Dwight Hicks at the San Francisco 32-yard line.
It's obvious San Francisco, if they do any kind of a job of feeding the kick, should wind up with pretty good field position.
Good snap again by Tom Rafferty. And the kick to Dwight Hicks at the 38. To the 40, running laterally, got away from right, but is brought down by Guy Brown, almost at midfield. Guy Brown, okay, 1st and 10 from midfield. Charlie Young is loose on the right side. Play action fake to Ring, and Montana going leap to Solomon, no good. Everson Walls came over to help out Dennis Thurman. And Montana taking a lick, very slowly getting up.
You know, Charlie Young that time was split out to the right side. There was a slot to the left, and he was split to the right side, one-on-one with Charlie Waters. I thought maybe he'd try to get the ball to him. Watch the hit afterwards. He really got a shot after the ball was thrown by White. Randy White, number 54.
So it is 2nd and 10 from midfield. Dallas 17, San Francisco 14. 11 minutes left in the 3rd quarter.
I think the 49ers have to do a better job of trying to get a big play on Charlie Waters, the strong safety, whenever they can. They're getting 1-for-1 on the tight end.
They're going to go to Bill Ring at the middle, and Ring goes to the 40-yard line, and that should be enough for the 1st down. Michael Downs brought him down. So Bill Ring barreling for the 1st down on the Dallas 40. But let's see now where they spot the ball. They might have to bring in the chain. It's the old story.
They just do a good job straight ahead. Fred Quillen, especially number 56, does a good job of blocking number 53. Bruning, watch 53. Watch the block by Quillen, the center. Gets 53, Bruning on the ground. And anytime you can do that, you've got to make yardage straight ahead. A beautiful job there by the offensive center, Fred Quillen.
And among other people, Bill Ring able to pick up some yardage on a fine block by Randy Cross. And again now where they spot the ball, and they're going to come up inches shy. So it is 3rd and inches on the Dallas 40-yard line. Eason Ramson comes to the sidelines. Charlie Young is the tight end. Walt Easley is in the backfield. Bill Ring stays in. Clark goes left. Young and Solomon go right on a 3rd and inches from the 40. And Montana on a sneak made it. He just followed Fred Quillen, the center, and picked up the 1st down.
Normally, the rule of thumb, anytime that you got less than a yard, usually you're going to go for a quarterback sneak. It's a high percentage, good play. If it's more than a yard or more, then of course you're going to give it to the back.
Two outstanding quarterbacks, of course. You would figure that in this game with Joe Montana and Danny White. And when they figured out the complicated rating system, Montana shaded White. Then you can see Bartkowski, Dickey, and Theismann in the top 5.
They got Charlie Waters 1 for 1 on the tight end.
Montana looking, hesitating, throwing on the run. No good. Freddie Solomon, defended by Everson Walls. Solomon diving at the 25, couldn't come up with it, but there's a flag on the play. And it'll be the 49 penalty.
I'm kind of surprised. There's 2 occasions in a row there. They had the tight end one-on-one on Charlie Waters. The situation they kind of like to have, and they never even looked in this direction to throw the ball to the one-on-one situation on Waters, with Young being the receiver on the play.
Illegal push in the back, number 68, 10 yards, still first down.
So John Ayers, illegal push from behind. That nullifies everything and makes it 1st and 20. Back at the Dallas 49-yard line. Now they have some rabbits in there. Mike Wilson goes wide right. Mike Schumann goes wide left. And you have Clark and Solomon in the backfield, and they release. Throwing on the run, complete to Charlie Young inside the 35, down to the 33-yard line. Anthony Dickerson and Benny Barnes trying to sandwich him, and Dickerson brought him down.
You talk about having the ability to move. Look at the quarterback. Martin goes beyond the quarterback. He steps up into the pocket and delivers the ball to the tight end, Young. A beautiful play, a great play really by Joe Montana. Again, there you see Young releasing from the line of scrimmage, breaks to the inside. There's a big hole there. He waits. The ball is thrown right at the numbers, makes the catch, and is finally tackled by Dickerson, number 51.
So Charlie Young picks up a bunch, and it's 2nd and 4 from the 33. Linville Elliott and Earl Cooper back in there. Montana going to Cooper, and he bumps Charlie Waters and goes out of bounds right at the first down marker. And the Coop is heard again. Coop. And it'll be first down, San Francisco.
See, they move people around a lot. That time he's on a wingback position outside of the tight end. He just breaks out into the flat. Montana moves the pocket, rolls to his right, and there you see him make the catch. Charlie Waters is in hot pursuit, makes the tackle, doesn't really make the tackle, but pushes him out of bounds.
So Earl Cooper, 2 years out of Rice, and it's 1st and 10 on the Dallas 27-yard line. Clark is wide right, Solomon left, Young the tight end on the left side. And it'll be Linville Elliott. Got away from Martin, got away from Hegman, and he's inside the 25. Brunig had him on top, and Dennis Thurman had him by the ankle.
I'm kind of surprised that they don't go back to the play where they made the big play, throwing the ball early in the game to Elliott, whereby he was 1 for 1 on the linebacker, D.D. Lewis. They had the same kind of a situation that time, but they haven't come back to that play since they ran it successfully early in the contest.
Clark has caught 5, Solomon 3, Charlie Young 4. Those have been their big receivers for Montana. 2nd and 6 on the Dallas 23, Solomon in motion to the left. They'll go to Cooper, and the big guy is loose inside the 20, down to about the 17.
That was a counterplay, Ben, executed very well. He took a step to the left and then broke back to the right. Ran right up the middle in good shape. Something they kind of criticized him for, because they said he didn't run up the middle good. He's run terrifically well in the last 2 games, running right at the defense.
And they spot the ball and indicate first down. 1st and 10 on the 17. Freddie Solomon coming out. So you have Dwight Clark wide left, Mike Wilson wide right. Young, keep your eye on the tight end, is on the right side. Montana looking left, charged by D.D. Lewis, in and out of the hands of Linville Elliott, and caught by Randy White inside the 15-yard line. What a break for Dallas.
Boy, the ball, it was a kind of delayed pattern to Linville Elliott. The ball was thrown just a little bit behind. At least that's what it looked like. Buffet is rushing, number 76. Waters is coverage, number 41. He throws the ball falling away. Watch. The ball was thrown a little bit too high. And also behind, deflected, intercepted by Randy White, number 54. Boy, it's a tough break for the 49ers.
First and 10 on the 13 for Dallas. Ron Springs and Tony Dorsett. Butch Johnson is wide right. Tony Hill wide left. Play action fake to Dorsett. White to the right side to Springs. Led him too much. Carlton Williamson and Willie Harper had picked him up. Now remember, San Francisco led the league in turnovers with a plus 23. And look what's happening today. They're in the red, a -3.
You know, it's a little reminiscent of the championship game last year, the playoff game against the Minnesota Vikings and the Philadelphia Eagles. The Vikings came into that game very much the same way as the San Francisco 49ers, and I think they had 5 turnovers in that game.
So second and 10 from the 13. Tony Hill in a slot right with Drew Pearson. Butch Johnson wide left. Backs release. White chased by Boyd. Hit by Dean. Throws intercepted by Bobby Leopold. And Leopold is down inside the 15-yard line.
Boy, what a play. And that defense, they were slanting that time to their left. And you see Boyd, number 76, gets his hand on the quarterback. Finally, Dean gets the tackle. The ball is knocked up into the air. And Leopold, number 52, who played his collegiate football at Notre Dame, makes the interception.
And they are going wild at Candlestick. As you see Fred Dean hurtling and up and at him. The Niners are up and at him. First and 10 on the Dallas 13-yard line. Ring and Easley are the running backs behind Montana. Bill Ring inside the 10, finally brought down by Michael Downs at about the 6-yard line.
Boy, what a beautiful hole that time, and it looked like the center again pulled through there. A beautiful cavity on the left side, and Ring popped through there in good shape and took the ball right down to about the 7-yard line.
Oh, it's second and 4, and Tom Landry and the rest of the Cowboys now trying to dig in. Second and 4 from the 7-yard line. Freddie Solomon goes left. Clark is split on the right side. Montana flipping to Easley, and Easley backs across the 5 to the 4. He was hit by Mike Hegman at the ankles, and down he goes.
Well, they ought to hurry up and call the play while the defense is not set. They waited too long. They had a distinct advantage. Or they're going to call timeout.
They're going to call timeout. The Dallas trying to shuttle substitutions, and they are forced to call a timeout with 6 minutes and 11 seconds left in the third. Johnny Davis, the man from Alabama who came to San Francisco in a deal that sent James Owens to Tampa Bay, big short yardage back. He's 235.
And he's a good blocker along with it, but he's a sledgehammer back that does a great job of running straight at the defense.
Third and 2, it's going to be Ring, and Ring is stacked up by Charlie Waters and dropped at about the 3. Waters hit him head on as Charlie Young was fighting Mike Hegman, and it was Waters who broke the play down. There's Charlie.
And that's typical of the way I think Bill Walsh thinks. It's very obvious you think that he would get the football. That time he faked to Davis and gave the ball to Ring. That's going to be close. Whether they make it or not, we'll see in just a second.
It was 3rd and 2, and he's got it to about the 4. After we measure, we'll show you Bill Ring's effort to get the first down. Look at that. That's as close as the game. Well, Bill Walsh now, does he go for 3 to tie, or does he try to keep the drive alive? What do you think, Hank?
Well, we'll see what he does here. With inches, just inches to go, the normal rule of thumb is to go ahead and go for it.
Well, they're going to go for it. Ray Wershing is standing on the sidelines. Gil Brandt pacing up and down the sidelines with Tom Landry. San Francisco in the huddle, and Landry is hollering quarterback sneak. That's what he's hollering to Dallas. Look out for the sneak on a 4th and 1. And it's 4th and inches, of course. And it is a sneak. And we'll see whether it's a first down or not.
That's the second time they've been in a short yardage situation with just inches to go. And on both occasions, they've run a quarterback sneak.
And Joe Montana down at the bottom of the pile. And he's not quite ready to get up. He paid a price for whatever he got.
They had to make the first down. They had a pretty good surge. No question about it. They had to make the first down.
Let's take a look at why Joe is so slow in getting up, whether somebody really supplied a lick.
Watch the right side. There's a good takeoff there. The right tight end doesn't get off the ball very well, but the inside people do. That's the important thing. Talking about Quillen, Cross, and Farnhorst, they get the first.
Man to the right side.
And just to complicate matters, Dallas was offside. So easily it is now a 1st and goal. Guy Benjamin, 4 years out of Stanford, who played under Walsh, is loosening up if Montana can't continue. 1st and goal from the 1. Johnny Davis, touchdown! Offensive lineman Randy Cross opened the door, and the big guy went right through.
In critical situations, San Francisco likes to run over their right side. I'm talking about the center, talking about the right guard and right tackle especially, but they had a good surge that time. Talking about the right guard, Randy Cross, and Quillen, the offensive center. There you see it. And he pops through there for the touchdown.
Big kick now, the hold by Montana, and the kick by Wersching. It is good. With 5 minutes and 44 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. San Francisco 21, Dallas 17, and it's a 9 on the Richter scale. It was not the ordinary point after. Watch what happens to Wersching following the kick. Here's Ron Fellows, stepped on his foot. Wersching is furious.
That's a great shot, Sandy. Great shot.
Sandy Grossman coming up with an award winner, and Wersching said, tell that man to stay off my feet, and Tunney said, stay off my shirt.
Or either that or take off your cleats if you're going to do that.
Wersching, by the way, is perhaps the most physical of all the kickers. You know, last week he had a personal foul against the Giants on a kickoff because of an illegal head slap to Leon Perry. When was the last time a kicker had a personal foul charge against him while they work on Joe Montana on the sideline? Kick to the right side, and it will go out of bounds. Timmy Newsom letting it go out. So Wersching with a sore puppy will have to kick again. Michael Downs was shaken up and administering to him on the sideline.
That's reminiscent of the first kickoff of the game where Newsom had a chance to make the play and let it wisely bounce out of bounds. They get better field position with the ball going back 5 yards.
As they work on Joe Montana on the sidelines, Guy Benjamin, the 26-year-old who was a #2 draft choice by Miami in '78, went to New Orleans and was traded to San Francisco, graduated from Stanford, and he might have to pick up the slack for Montana. It remains to be seen. So Wersching will try it again from the 30-yard line. Standing deep for the Cowboys, the middleman is James Jones, flanked by Wilson on his left and Newsom on his right.
You might wonder why he kicked that ball out of bounds. He's trying to kick the ball to the left side so they can all focus in on just using the size of the field to that side.
And goes to Jones at the 12-yard line. To the 25, slips and goes down at the 30. Milt McCall, number 53, was the man who brought him down, but he already slipped and he was coming down. There's McCall, which is certainly another great name in the school of Stanford. And there's James Jones, a great name in literary circles.
You know, we talked a lot about the field going into the game. George Toma did a fabulous job. There's a divot. The field looks very, very nice, but it's very soft, and there's been a lot of slipping. But under the circumstances, it's still in great shape.
1st and 10 on the Cowboy 30-yard line. Pearson wide right. Hill goes left, and yet Springs and Dorsett on a draw. Herbert Scott trying to block, but they squeeze him at the line of scrimmage. It was Craig Pookie, number 54, Jack Reynolds, 64, who brought him down at the 32, and evidently Joe Montana telling Guy Benjamin he'll be able to continue. So a pickup of about 3. That'll make it 2nd and 7 for the Pokes. 21-17, San Francisco. If you see 74 Fred Dean, looks like he's puffing up his chest with pride. Actually protection because of a serious sternum injury earlier this year.
They like to keep Dean away from the tight end side. That time he shifted over to the left side instead of the right end where he normally plays.
Here comes Dorsett, and they box it in at the 34-yard line. Jack Reynolds leading the charge. Montana, of course, getting instructions for his next visit. Willie Harper doing a great job in his linebacking post. And now Reynolds and Harper and Stuckey all come out along with Reese. And in a 3rd and 5, big play for Danny White on the Cowboy 35.
And they like to use Dean and move him around as much as they can, sometimes at right end, sometimes at left end. Now he's back in his defensive right end position.
Pearson left, Hill right, Johnson in a slot right. Jones getting on the right side as Danny White moving Johnson towards the sidelines. White over the middle and a great catch. Brought down by Leopold. James Jones making the reception at the 45. Big play.
I tell you, that was really, really a beautiful throw with a lot of touch. White blocking Dean inside. Look, he throws it right on top. A beautiful catch. Just a terrific catch by Jones and good coverage by Leopold. I don't know how you could do a better job of covering. He just made a beautiful catch on the play. Number 52.
Bobby Leopold covering James Jones. Jones making the reception. 1st and 10 on the Dallas 45. Tony Hill wide right. Pearson wide left. Will be the second man, Dorsett. And he might have gone all the way as he broke loose, and somebody just did reach out and grab him, and I think that somebody was Billy Joe Dupree, along with Archie Reese, as Dupree hit Reese, and Reese reached up, and I think just did trip him.
That's what you cannot. This is the first time, really, that the 49er defense kind of overran the play. There you see Reynolds and Reese, number 78, overrunning the play, and him cutting back. Making a nice game.
Archie really saved a big play that time, so it's 2nd and 4 on the San Francisco 49. In motion is Pearson, and he'll go to Springs, and Springs upended. The first man to hit him was Craig Pookie, then Eric Wright and Jack Reynolds came over to keep him down, but he still was able on his own momentum to carry to the 45 and the first down.
The 49ers are playing very emotionally, and in the process are overrunning their responsibilities and making it possible for the back. Watch Keena Turner now. Number 58 overrun the play. Look at, he's being blocked, but look at, he runs way inside with Cosby's block, and for that reason the back can cut back, Springs, and make more yardage on the play.
1st and 10 on the San Francisco 45. Hill and Pearson go right. Now Pearson in motion. Play action fake. White going softly to Ron Springs, and he's brought down by Ronnie Lott at the 40-yard line. Anthony Dickerson, among others, hollering encouragement to Springs. Harvey Martin hollers to Springs. Good catch, but Ronnie Lott hit him as hard as he could.
You talk about a great play by a young player. Look at this. On the open field, he makes a beautiful tackle on Springs from a play-action fake, and the reason he was so open, the Dallas Cowboys pulled the right tackle and the right guard to the left, which made the defense go with him. There was nobody out there. Lott was one-on-one and made a beautiful play.
Ronnie Lott's teacher at SC, as he always says, Dennis Thurman. 2nd and 6 on the San Francisco 41. Pearson left. Dorsett, the deep man behind Springs. Tony running into a crowd. Willie Harper had him from behind. Down at the bottom, Harper spun him around to drop him.
I think the feeling of Dallas is that they would like to run at Dean whenever there's got a tight end on his side. Dean that time was lined up on the offensive right side instead of the left side, and they still ran to the left, which was really a mistake.
They're trying to find him, which is probably all part of Bill Walsh's idea.
That's the philosophy. They're trying to hide him and put him in a different position so they cannot get to him with a tight end.
So it's 3rd and 5 from the 40-yard line of San Francisco. They'll load up the shotgun. You have Hill and Johnson right.
Or the safety man is so deep, something in the middle is going to be open if they have a chance to throw it.
And White is going to go deep, and it's intended for Butch Johnson, and Ronnie Lott bumped into him, and they're going to call pass interference.
No question about that one.
That one was obvious.
Very obvious. Lott did not know where the ball was and was trying to distort the view of the receiver. No chance whatsoever. Definitely pass interference on the play.
So for the second time today, Ronnie Lott is charged with interference. The first time he had made an apparent interception.
And Butch Johnson, number 86,
Number 42.
definitely pass
Foul,
interference
foul, first down.
on Lott, number 42.
Well, that's a 28-yard pass penalty. Brings the ball down to the 12-yard line where it is 1st and 10 on the San Francisco 12. Gil Brandt, who helped to put this Dallas Cowboy club together, sweating it out on the sideline. Pearson and Hill go right. It'll be Dorsett, grabbed by Reese. Archie Reese hit him right at the line of scrimmage, and the big bear wearing 78 brought him down.
Boy, Reese really did a good job. Again, he's a player playing on the offensive center. Archie Reese, number 78, there you see him. Plays off the block, watch him. Using his hands, playing off of Rafferty. And makes the tackle.
And with that, the third quarter is history at Candlestick. San Francisco 21, Dallas 17. They have it 2nd and 10 on the San Francisco 12. Hill goes left, Pearson goes right. James Jones, the setback now as Ron Springs goes wide left.
The last time they did this, they ran to the left side.
White is going to throw, and it's going to be caught by Billy Joe Dupree. Carlton Williamson and Willie Turner pick him up at the 5-yard line, but the tight end makes the catch at the 5, and they have another 3 yards to go for a first down.
They sent a man in motion to the left side. That left side looked like it was very vulnerable. The last time they did that, they ran a running play outside. This time they threw outside in that area. Big play to Dupree.
So 3rd and 3. Still down on his knees is Willie Harper, who's been banged up. Willie Harper left the field under his own power, and it is 3rd and 3 on the San Francisco 5-yard line. Cosby is a tight end on the left side, Salty on a wing outside Dupree. So with a 3 tight end formation, you have Dorsett in the near position. He's on the side of the 2 tight ends. But they'll play action fake to Springs. White under some pressure gets a good block, throws, no good. Eric Wright broke it up. Kurt Peterson made a great block on Jim Stuckey to buy some time, and then Eric Wright broke up the pass.
You know, and it looked like, it's very easy to see from up here, it was a play action. They like to run inside with that tight end in motion, but he rolls out to the right and then comes back. Had he been able, he could have looked like he could have run possibly for the corner. Lott was in front of him, but he looked like he still might have been able to make the play.
Doug Cosby, the tight end, is complaining. Watch now as Eric Wright tries to get in there, and Cosby thought that perhaps Wright had interfered. Well, Septien with a hold by Charlie Waters at the 13, a 23-yard field goal attempt. The hold, the kick is up, the kick is good. Septien 3 for 3 now in field goals. Raphael Septien kicking off. Amos Lawrence, number 20. Bill Ring, number 30, deep. And Septien hits it high and deep to Amos Lawrence at the 2. To the 10. To the 15, Ron Fellows. Bear hugs him at the 18-yard line. And then Robert Newhouse comes over to make sure he's going down. Montana is okay. He's at the wheel. Mike Schumann is left. Len Benoli was in motion. Solomon is right. Easily staying in the block. And Montana going high and deep to Schumann. No good. Mike Schumann, 4-year veteran out of Florida, unable to catch up to that one.
And he's got good moves. He's a good move guy. Great hands. That time he went down the sideline, ran a left, and then up the sideline with the idea of licking Dennis Thurman, number 32. The ball was thrown too far, and he couldn't reach it.
And now Dwight Clark comes back in to join Freddie Solomon at the other end of the line. So 2nd and 10 from the 19. 13:51 left in the game. Solomon and Clark come left. So that puts Charlie Young on the right side. Easley and Elliott are the running back. Play action fake to Elliott. And Montana throwing to Solomon. And Solomon pushed out at the 39 by Everson Walls, and they'll get him to the 40. First down.
This is really a great-looking play. Look at the twin receivers, a combination of Solomon and Clark. Look at, there's a little pick there. Look at, they run. Clark goes inside, Solomon goes outside. The ball is right on the money, and he makes the necessary yardage for the first down. A good play, but that is a pick play where one player bumps into another, the other one breaks off of that pick, very much like a basketball game.
Solomon has caught 4 for 57 yards and a touchdown. First and 10 on the San Francisco 40-yard line. Mike Wilson right. This time Lenville Elliott, and he's got a hole, and he is finally brought down by Michael Downs and Bob Brunig at about the 44-yard line.
Well, there was a good surge that time at the line of scrimmage. Good block.
Walt Easley trying to help out through the block that moved his man along. Easley is a rookie out of West Virginia. He's a cousin of Kenny Easley of Seattle. And by the way, he has thrown the ball once this year. Solomon has thrown once for 25 yards against Dallas.
You know, we usually see some kind of a reverse when you see San Francisco play. They haven't used one yet in this game.
Montana to Easley, and he butts heads with Brunig, loses the ball, and Dallas recovers on the Dallas 49. You talk about a head knocking. Bob Brunig hit him head on. You know what? Easley is the third back behind Cooper and Davis. And watch the hit now. Brunig hits him there, and here comes the ball.
You know, Easley was nice and low that time. It looked like he was trying to cover up the ball, but in the process, he got underneath it and scraped it loose. A great play by Bob Brunig.
Here at Candlestick Park, the big story is turnovers. And they are plaguing the young 49er club. 5 turnovers, Dallas twice. First and 10 on the Dallas 49. Dorsett cutting, and look out now. He is hit head on by Eric Wright, and he still goes on across the 40-yard line. Wright had Pookie come over to help, and it still didn't slow him down. He picks up the first down at the 39 of San Francisco.
That was another counter play. He takes a step to his right. Watch it, and watch the right tackle, Cooper, number 61. He is pulling on the play. There you see him. He tries to get a block on Keena Turner. And the way it turns out, he really doesn't need it. A nice play, a big hole on the counter play with Jim Cooper pulling from the right tackle position.
Lawrence Pillars, who came into this game with a bad shoulder, evidently has a bad foot or ankle right now, maybe only a cramp, I hope for his sake. First and 10, the ball just shy of the San Francisco 39.
It's funny what you do with a fine system when you lose money for $100 a pound.
I bet. All right, first and 10 for Danny White. It's 21-20 got in favor of San Francisco. With Dallas on the move. Dorsett the deep man. White looking right to Springs, and Willie Harper has him at the waist inside the 30-yard line. Drops him at the 28, and that'll be enough for another first down.
Well, they read that. White read that very, very well. They were double covering the outside receivers. There was a lot of room between the safety and the corner. No doubt about where he was going to throw the ball. He hit the cavity with Springs. Nice looking play.
You know, in 1979 in the playoffs with the Rams, Springs was supposed to pass to Roger Staubach, but he got excited and passed to Drew Hill. And Staubach was wide open. He would have had a touchdown, but he passed it to Tony Hill instead. The only time and the closest Staubach ever came to catching a pass for a touchdown. There goes Dorsett. Dwight Hicks made a good hooking tackle at the hips. Finally had Carlton Williamson help out, but it was Dwight Hicks who made a saving tackle.
Boy, did he fly through that hole. You couldn't believe. I thought he was going to make a larger gain than that because, again, there was a big hole there, and Hicks, as you mentioned, really did a great job of coming over to make the tackle.
So the ball on the 21-yard line, where it is 2nd and 4. Tony Hill wide left. Drew Pearson right. We have Springs and Dorsett once again with Doug Cosby, the tight end. Play action fake, and White setting up into the end zone to Cosby. Touchdown.
Well, you talk about a field for pressure. White stopped just in time, rolled to his left, stopped just in time, deliver the ball to Cosby, 84. Watch what happens here. Here comes White, number 11, faking. They do a good job of selling like it's going right. He stops just in time, delivers the ball to Cosby. He bounces into the end zone for the touchdown. Boy, what a great-looking play.
You know what's remarkable? 6 of Cosby's last 13 pass reception have been touchdowns. 6 of them. Charlie Waters holding for Septien. Good snap. And the kick is good. And with 10 minutes and 41 seconds left in the ballgame. 27-21 Dallas. 10:41 left in the game as Septien kicks off. Lawrence and Ring, and it'll be Ring from the 1 to the 10. Oh, what a hit by Robert Newhouse. Robert Newhouse, the 10-year veteran from Houston, who built up his reputation as a great running back, comes up with his 3rd key tackle today. Let's look at the chalkboard.
Here we see Cosby right here in this position. It's a play-action fake with White. White faking to the backs in this position. These 2 backs. Cosby is hit by Harper at the line of scrimmage and then go right down to this area and is open for the touchdown. Let's take a look at it. There you see him get hit by Harper. He breaks through beyond the line of scrimmage, breaks into the open, stops to make the catch. The ball is right on the money. White to Cosby.
1st and 10 from the 17. Montana setting up. And now throwing high and right. No good, Darryl Cooper. Bob Brunig defending. So Brunig going with Cooper to the sidelines. And of course, remember, Bob Brunig is one of the heroes. It was Brunig who laid that savage hit on Walt Easley that called Easley to fumble. It was recovered by Dallas on the Dallas 49, and they went on for the touchdown. So you got to put the spotlight on Bob Brunig.
Yes, that was a great play.
So it is 2nd and 10 from the 17. Harvey Martin digging in with the rest of the Colts. 10:25 left in the game. Montana scrambling, picks up a block, throwing back to Clark. To the 30, to the 35, upended by Ron Fellows at the 35-yard line. 1st down, San Francisco.
Clark is a very intelligent receiver. He knows where people are all the time. He knows where his quarterback is. Here comes Clark. Look at him. He breaks in and then breaks out to the sideline. You see, now then he makes the catch. Makes a good move on the sideline, carrying the ball in the wrong arm, however, but he makes the big play for the 1st down.
Fellows weighs only 173, but he brought Clark down. He's 210. 1st and 10 from the 35. Montana setting up to throw deep, throws it high, down in the corner. Everson Walls takes it away from Freddie Solomon. 1st and 10 Dallas on the Cowboy 26.
They had 6 defensive backs in the game. And really the thing that you must do, we'll take another look at it, but in that kind of a situation, if Solomon cannot make the catch, he must make sure that the defensive back does not make the catch. He runs a right and then up the field. Iverson Walls has position on him all the way. Watch now. The ball is up in the air. I guess Solomon from the backside tries to knock it down, but doesn't.
Everson Walls, the brilliant rookie out of Grambling. It seemed like the league picked on him in the early going, but he has made them pay the price. 11 interceptions during the year and 2 more today. A half a dozen turnovers have absolutely killed San Francisco up to now. 1st and 10 from the Dallas 27.
San Francisco, they have to do something defensively, make some kind of a big play to make something happen.
Tony Dorsett is hit and down. The man who hit him is Willie Harper, first of all. Here are the way the running backs have done at Candlestick this year. George Rogers, the only back to go for over 100. When Tony Dorsett rushed for only 21 yards, he only carried 9 times. Today, he's carried 18 times for 79 yards and a touchdown. Of course, in that first game, San Francisco led 24-0 in the first quarter. 2nd and 10 from the 27. In motion is Pearson, picked up by Eric Wright. And they'll go to Dorsett. He has Scott blocking, but he takes a savage hit from Carlton Williamson, number 27. And, of course, Williamson also went to Pittsburgh. He was recruited as a fullback. So they had a little alumni meeting over there on the right side.
Yes, and Williamson won that meeting. Captured his attention. Boy, what a great play by Carlton Williamson, number 27. Beautiful position and good low, and made the tackle. A good shot.
This year against Pittsburgh, and maybe he had a little extra adrenaline as Dorsett, little wobbly, goes out. Carlton Williamson was a one-man destroyer. 3rd and 8 from the 29. Pearson and Saldi wide left. And White throws to Saldi, who comes back and makes the reception shy of the 40-yard line, but he picked up the first down. A very heady play by the tight end, Jay Saldi, to come back.
Yes, and not enough pressure on the quarterback. Here's Saldi releasing off the line of scrimmage. Makes a good move under control. Keena Turner, number 58, slips in the process of trying to recover. The ball is on the money. First down. Jay Saldi makes the catch.
Jay Saldi came to Dallas as a free agent in 1976. 1977, they made him the special teams captain. And when you hear that about somebody, you know he likes to play. So 1st and 10 on the Dallas 38. James Jones in there. Springs releases. They set up a screen for Jones. Boxed in by Pookie. Got away from Wright, so Pookie finally goes after him and brings him down. Pookie missed him. Wright couldn't hold him, and Pookie had to get him at the 42. Gene Stallings on the sideline talking to Charlie Waters. A lot of football savvy there.
Yes, and Gene Stallings at one time was a head coach at Texas A&M.
It'll be 2nd and 6 at the 42. And, of course, Charlie Waters is thinking about coaching. He called for a career.
Yeah, I think he has expressed some interest in that. Yes, he has.
He's finishing up this year. 2nd and 6 from the 42. Pearson and Hill in a slot right, but they go to Dorsett. Donovan pulls to block for him, and Dorsett bumped out of bounds before he got the first down. The man who hit him has hurt his left hand, and that would be Ronnie Lott. Ronnie Lott hit him and hurt his hand as he rolled into the San Francisco bench, and now Lott is bent over and slowly coming back out onto the field. So Ronnie Lott shaken up, but he's going to stay in there. Now you have a 3rd and 1.
They continue to run a lot of counter plays. Counter plays meaning that a back takes a step in one direction and then goes in the opposite direction. That time he stepped to his left, went to his right. Lott finally knocks him out of bounds.
3rd and 1 from the Dallas 47. Saldi and Dupree on the right side, but they go straight ahead with Springs, and they stack him up, and it will be up to the official. Where they are marking the ball, the line judge is putting it down. It'll be a first down. They're going to bring the change in, however. It's going to be that close again.
You know, it's very obvious the plan was to run a lot of counter plays. Here we see Lott bending over, and looks like he might have hurt his hand on the play. But even on the short yardage.
On the previous play.
Yes.
Ronnie Lott's name has certainly appeared prominently in this ball game today, although he just as soon not think about it. 2 pass interference calls have put his name right up there in the first paragraph. Yep. The line judge had put his foot down, and where he put his foot down, there was no doubt it was a first down, but they want to make sure, of course, in a game like this. We told you about how San Francisco went from 27th defensively to number 2. Here's one of the big reasons. First of all, look at what they did in the backfield. Ronnie Lott, Eric Wright, Carlton Williamson, and Lynn Thomas bolstered up at tackle with John Hardy. 1st and 10 on the Dallas 48.
Now using 2 tight ends.
Cosby on the right, Dupree on the left, and they'll stay with Dorsett, and he's hit by Jim Stuckey, and Stuckey with Lott sitting on top of him, but Stuckey did the job. Time very much of a factor. 6 minutes and 4 seconds left in the game. The ball at midfield, and it is 2nd and 9. Dorsett behind Springs. Hill is left. Pearson is right. They'll go to Dorsett with Springs blocking, and he got a couple. Williamson and Leopold, after Jim Coper had pulled, to try and push Willie Harper out of the play.
Willie Harper did a super job of coming up the field, playing off the block of the tight end and making the back turn inside where he got some help. Had he not been able to do that, he'd have really run for a big yardage.
So now the crowd trying to help Willie Harper and company. It is 3rd and 5 on the San Francisco 47-yard line, and it's 27-21 Dallas. Johnson and Hill left. Pearson and Donnelly right. And White throwing to Donnelly, no good. Coming out to handle him was Eric Wright and Keena Turner. But Doug Donnelly unable to make the catch.
Well, Donnelly, I'll tell you one thing, was wide open on the play. Good thing the ball wasn't thrown any better than it was. Had it been thrown out in front, he'd have made that catch, and it would have been a big first down. He threw it a little bit behind him, a little bit too high.
An interesting note so far now, all of the 49er running backs have rushed for a total of 88 yards. Tony Dorsett alone has rushed for 91. And of course, Dallas just doesn't lose if Tony gets 100. So on a 4th and 5, Danny White standing on his own 37. Deep is Freddie Solomon and Dwight Hicks. 5:02 left in the game. White trying to kick it out of bounds. He can't get it over there, and a fair catch for Freddie Solomon at the 10-yard line. Anthony Dickerson right there, but no flag. Dickerson is not called for bumping into him. Dallas, as you can see, has ruined some great San Francisco dreams in the past, and they're leading 27-21 with 4:54 left in the game. 1st and 10 from the 10. Charlie Young goes wide left. Solomon and Clark go wide right.
And they got 6 defensive backs in the game.
Play action to Cooper, and the pass to Elliott, and he drops it. Lyndon Elliott couldn't hold on to it at about the 12-yard line.
It looked like Joe hurt himself a little bit that time. He was a play action inside, and he threw it a little bit too quickly. And for that reason, it wasn't as accurate as he normally throws the ball. He had a little bit more time to throw it than he actually did on that last pass.
Montana with 3 interceptions so far this long afternoon. 27-21 Dallas. 2nd and 10. The ball just across the 10-yard line. Cooper is in motion, and they give it to Elliott, and he's got some daylight. He is tripped up. Guy Brown, number 59, and Ed Jones, but it was Brown, number 59, who tripped him up with an arm. Otherwise, he would have gone for the first down. Good play by Brown.
Here we see the draw play. Montana going back and handing it to Elliott, going up the middle. Remember, they're playing with 6 defensive backs and 4 linemen and 1 linebacker. Guy Brown made the tackle.
3rd and 4 from the 17. Brown charging the pass and reception at the 23-yard line by Freddie Solomon. Even though he had Dennis Thurman all over him. And that's a first down, and Solomon slowly getting up.
And the key to the play was that Solomon came back for the ball just enough to make that catch. Had he waited for the ball to come to him, he'd have been out of business. He never would have made the play.
You know, Montana in his collegiate days, one of the great come-from-behind quarterbacks in the history of a great university, Notre Dame. He also has pulled off a couple of miracles in the NFL. 1st and 10 on the 23, and here goes Linville Elliott, Randy Cross, and John Ayers blocking for him, and he finally goes out of bounds for a first down at the 34-yard line. So Cross and Ayers leading the way, and Linville Elliott picked up the first down, and what a story he is picking up for the injured Ricky Patton.
And people wonder maybe why are they running the ball. They're running it because they got 7 defensive backs in the game, only 1 linebacker, and they're going to make those defensive backs who ordinarily like to play pass defense, they're going to make them make tackles.
Linville, an even 6-footer, 210. Mike Wilson wide left, Dwight Clark wide right. They'll go to Elliott, and again he has Ayers blocking on Fellows, and that springs him across the 40. John Ayers laying a good block on Ron Fellows, and that made the yardage count. Charlie Waters finally brought him down. He needed a little help and got it from Anthony Dickerson.
Watch the guards are pulling on the play. A good block out in front by the left guard, John Ayers, number 68.
So 2nd and 3 from the San Francisco 41. And it's going to be to Elliott. He threw one way, and Linville was turning the other. Anthony Dickerson was there. The ball really wasn't on the money. The 3rd and 3 with 2 minutes, 22 seconds left in the game. 27-21 Dallas.
And the 49ers have 3 timeouts, and that's very, very important.
Montana pulled one out against the Rams in the closing minutes. Last year, the Niners were down 35-7 at the half and won the game. That was against New Orleans. But of course, it's not New Orleans today. It's the Dallas Cowboys. 3rd and 3 from the 41 of San Francisco. Linville Elliott driving very close, and where he is now is the first down. He's stretched out at the 45-yard line. If they give him that, he's got the first down.
There again, they're running the ball that way. A penalty against Dallas.
It's a first down. And a penalty. They're going to move it across to the 46-yard line. Here's Jim Tenney.
Offside, defense, number 77, makes it a first down.
So they actually gained 1 yard because he was at the 45. The 5-yard penalty puts the ball at the 46, and they have the 1st and 10.
They have a lot of time with 2:18 and 3 timeouts left in this game.
Dwight Clark wide right, Freddie Solomon back in the game wide left, and Montana's going to send it up. And he's got his man in a crowd across midfield, and that's Cooper coming out of the backfield. Benny Barnes and Ron Fellows was with him, but Big Coop made the play at the Dallas 49. Picked up 5, 2nd and 5. So we have come to the 2-minute warning in a magnificent game at Candlestick Park. Dallas 27, San Francisco 21. A half a dozen turnovers has hurt San Francisco today. Montana to Elliott to Solomon. Solomon to the 45, to the 40, down at the 35. He lost his balance avoiding Ron Fellows, or he would have gone even more.
Well, I wondered when he was going to run a reverse. They usually run at least one in every game. Here it is. Look at Chase. Look at Harvey Martin, number 79. He's going the other way. And Solomon really does a great job.
Back to live. The pass to Dwight Clark is good at the 25-yard line. So passes to Solomon and Elliott and Cooper, then the reverse, and now the pass to Clark. And with 1:31, the 49ers 1st and 10 on the Dallas 25.
And the important thing again, they still have 3 timeouts.
Here's that quick play to Clark. He just did stay in bounds. All right, 1st and 10 from the 25. In motion is Linville Elliott, picked up by Benny Barnes. Montana in the middle of Solomon inside the 15. He's down at the 12. Benny Barnes was there defending. Everson Walls was also there.
Well, you talk about being hot. When you have to be hot, Montana is doing exactly that. You talk about a pressure situation, a beautiful, another pick play, and Solomon catches the ball right on the money.
Timeout, San Francisco. Charlie Young is on the right side.
They're still playing with 6 defensive backs.
Cooper in motion. And Montana in the end zone to Solomon, no good. Solomon looked like he had beaten Everson Walls.
You know why he looked like he did? He did. The ball was just thrown a little bit too long. Boy, what a good-looking play it would have been, except it was just too long.
So it is 2nd and 10 at the 13. Solomon, look at the jump he had on Walls. And again, Bill Walsh changing people. Wilson and Eason Ramson out. Back comes Dwight Clark, then Bill Elliott. Clark is going to go right. Solomon goes left. They split Cooper and Elliott. 2nd and 10 from the 13. It'll be Linville Elliott. He's got Ayers out in front of him. Ayers blocking on Fellows, and he gets down to the 5-yard line. Does Linville Elliott. John Ayers doing a good job.
Yes, and that was a good call. It's typical of the unpredictability of Bill Walsh on the sideline. He calls the plays. They're looking for pass. He ran a run outside. Good blocking by Ayers, number 68. And he goes all the way around the outside and takes the ball down to about the 5-yard line. Linville Elliott, number 35. Downs, number 26, finally makes the tackle.
We have a 3rd and 3. San Francisco has used up another timeout. So you have 59 seconds left in the game. The Cowboys have 2 timeouts. The 49ers have 1. And you know what? For one of the rare times, what they thought was going to be a barn burner is exactly that. And of course, for the upstart 49ers, they're 6 yards away from Pontiac. 3rd and 3.
We'll see a pickup sometime on the right side, possibly.
Montana looking, throwing in the end zone. Caught it! Dwight Clark! It's a madhouse at Candlestick with 51 seconds left. Dwight Clark is 6'4". He stands about 10 feet tall in this crowd's estimation.
We got to watch here. Too Tall Jones usually lines up in the middle. He's 6'7".
The spot, the kick, it is good. 28-27 San Francisco, 51 seconds left.
Oh, what a remarkable display of the 2-minute offense. That time they put on the extra point, Too Tall Jones, who was 6'9" instead of 6'7", I said. Here's Montana rolling to his right. Always looking, finally throwing the ball away. Clark comes across from the other side, makes a leaping catch on Everson Walls. Here we see again, he's the outside receiver. Look, he's jammed. He goes to the inside, stops. He sees Montana rolling, makes the adjustment, runs right back over where Montana is. A great display of intelligence on his part.
Look at Bill Walsh while everybody else is going wild.
He's probably numb. He can't get.
He's amazing. He is amazing. What a play by Dwight Clark.
Hey, listen, in 51 seconds, there's still a lot of time for this Dallas Cowboy team. This team really has to do a good job. I'm talking about the 49ers doing a good job of covering the kick and not let them escape and make a big play on the return.
Well, now you keep a look especially at the wideouts, the men who are particularly adept. Keep an eye out on number 24, Rick Jervis, among others, to try and get down and harass the receiver. Line drive kick, a bounce to Timmy Newson at the 12, to the 20. Bobby Leopold hit him head on and knocked him out of bounds at the 25-yard line.
And the Cowboys have 47 seconds and 2 timeouts left.
And they're on their own 25. What a magnificent, wild game with all the turnovers. A seesaw game that saw San Francisco score first, and then it's just been back and forth all the way. And now Danny White at the controls.
How about the poise of this young team when they had to be poised and confident to execute the 2-minute offense? They did exactly that.
47 seconds away from Super Bowl 16. First and 10 from the 25. Dorsett and Spring behind White. Hill goes right. Johnson and Pearson wide left. White down the middle. Caught by Pearson, and Wright had him by the shirt or he's gone. If Eric Wright doesn't have him by the shirt, Pearson busts it.
Yes, and they didn't. Here again, in a critical situation, they did not put enough pressure on Danny White. You have to give him a lot of credit. Danny White, a lot of time to throw the ball, steps up and delivers the ball. perfectly. Look at, they get squeezed inside. He hung right in there tough and got the ball inside beautifully to Drew Pearson. And had he not, as you mentioned, Wright made the tackle, he'd have been gone. It'd have been the bye-bye Blues.
Yeah, tearaway jersey would have meant fini on that play. 39 seconds left in the game. Take another look. Williamson diving and missing. Lott didn't get there, and Eric Wright jerked him down.
There are really three defensive backs right around where Drew Pearson caught the ball, but they did not react, and the ball was thrown perfectly. What a big play for the Dallas Cowboys. 38 seconds, now one timeout.
Remember, we talked about how it could be the son of the Mexico City World Cup soccer team, or the son of the Yugoslav carpenter. Wershing or Septien might decide it. And it is Septien who is heating up on the far sidelines for Dallas. Eddie DiBartolo, the young owner, growing very old, but Landry has been through it all many times. 1st and 10 on the San Francisco 44. 38 seconds left.
They got to get court pressure on their quarterback.
Johnson and Pearson right. Hill goes left. They're trying to get at him, and they got him. Lawrence Pillars, he fumbled the ball. Jim Stuckey diving at the ball. And did Stuckey get it? Yes, Jim Stuckey got it.
That's what they had to do. They had to make something happen defensively with a rush. They got it done, and Stuckey recovered the fumble. Pillars, I think, was the man who made the tackle.
Pillars hit him, and Stuckey came up with it. And with 30 seconds to go, Pandemonium and Candlestick. The upstarts, the guys who were nowhere in the estimation of the experts, are 30 seconds away from Super Bowl 16 in Cincinnati. Dallas 27, but San Francisco 28, and the fireworks are just starting in Baghdad by the Bay. Take another look at Pillars hitting him and the recovery by Stuckey.
Yeah, he kept the pressure on, and he knocked him right into the backfield and made the play, and Stuckey, number 79, recovers the fumble.
Montana now just going to sit on the football, hands off, and the clock is running. And now Dallas must use a timeout with 27 seconds left. Look at Montana. And why not? He went 90 yards to take the lead away from the Dallas Cowboys. Tell you one thing, Bill Walsh, in his ascendancy as one of the great young coaches and one of the greatest coaches in history, standing quietly on the far side, Tom Landry.
You know, the other thing is, you're talking about two great coaches, but you talk about Bill Walsh. He's the kind of a guy, you know, you can go in and talk to him. He'll tell you anything you want to know about the game plan. There's no mystery involved. He tells you what they're going to do. He does what he says he's going to do. He's really done a remarkable job with the 49ers.
Ernie Stautner dying on the Dallas sidelines. 28-27 San Francisco. 27 seconds left, and Montana again going down. Trying to steal the ball is Dennis Thurman, and the clock keeps ticking. And now it is all San Francisco. They've done it. And Danny White and the disconsolate Dallas Cowboy team goes back, and Lawrence Pillars sharing the limelight with the rest of the 49ers. And Bill Walsh. Hello, Pontiac, Cincinnati, and San Francisco.
And how about the association, Bill Walsh playing in the Super Bowl game against his old team, the Cincinnati Bengals. Boy, what a remarkable job. Really super shots, super game. And again, you have to talk.